And football over the weekend, that's a quick 75% clip for you guys.
Very nice.
So these Saturdays have been incredible, 7-2. It really felt like North Texas decided not to dress a punter. It looked like this weekend they went for every fourth down possible, but a couple of bad turnovers from Chandler Morris, and then Oklahoma gets backdoored late. We end up going 7-2, but a nice 12-4, and we do have the side up tonight with the Dolphins and the Rams. You can get it all at lanceslock.com. College hoops, NBA. It's always brought to you by our friends at Hemp Hill Services, 205-229-2090. Whether you experience plumbing and heating or cooling issues in your home or business, trust the name Birmingham has trusted since 1954. Call Adam, Chad, Andrew, the guys there, 205-229-2090 or hemphillservices.com.
We'll hear from Kalen DeBoer coming up at the top of the hour with his news conference, and then Hugh Freeze. We'll play that for you. We just saw something from Hugh Freeze. He talked about the quarterback situation, but really hasn't changed his comments on that, Brown.
No, he's dancing around. He did say that Peyton Thorne, again, who I'll point out, previously scheduled not to be with us tomorrow in the offseason, so he will not be on the show tomorrow, was injured and did not practice last week. Shoulder injury against Vandy, did not practice last week, but beyond that, Hugh Freeze non-committal about what that will mean at the quarterback spot.
Yeah, so that is something to keep an eye on when we hear from Hugh Freeze coming up, but as the week progresses, as they get ready for Louisiana Monroe down at Jordan-Hare this week. And we'll hear from Kalen DeBoer. By the way, he told me to tell you guys hi.
Coach
I saw him
did?
on the field after he finished the coach's show. He's walking off. He was very nice, walked over and said hi to me, and told me to tell you guys he said hi.
Well, tell Coach I said what's up, man.
Yeah. Did Aaron Jordan ever text you?
No. Was he supposed to send me something?
Yeah.
Okay, I want to hear that.
Yeah, really interesting. Kirby Smart, after the loss in Oxford, gives credit to Ole Miss and Lane Kiffin, and then has some other thoughts.
We obviously struggled in a lot of areas. We had miscues, mistakes, penalties, things that are really hard to overcome, especially when you play a really good football team, and they are. I told our team coming into this week, I felt like they were probably the most talented team that we had played, counting both sides of the ball and special teams. They have elite specialists, and they have really good players on defense and the skill positions on offense. So give their quarterback credit. He made a lot of really good throws, and their defense affected us with the pass rush. So a lot of credit goes to Lane and his staff. Look, they really should be undefeated. I know people think that's not true, but they really controlled the game against LSU the whole game and lost it. And they're playing good football, and they outplayed us tonight, outcoached us, and did a great job.
Now, Dart coming back from that injury and playing with pain, it'll be interesting to see. But they got to bye, right? So he can rest up.
Yep, they've got to bye.
Yeah, if he had to turn around and play another big game this weekend,
or if he had Georgia's situation where he's got to play Tennessee, that'd be tough. Yeah,
that would be tough.
Georgia's just got so. They have got to be so exceptional at quarterback the way their offense is right now, because they don't have great receivers. They don't have the tight end that they've had, and their offensive line is no good.
But see, that's just it. He was able to be a really elite quarterback manager. Stetson Bennett was able to be a quarterback manager those years, and you don't have to make the plays. Beck's having to make plays. You don't have an elite tight end that you've got to bracket two guys on. You don't have McConkey who's out there, running route beaters all the time. You don't have any elite play. EDN only touched the ball 6 times.
But here's what didn't make any sense. Like when Ratledge was out, you understood the offensive line get really shaken up because that is your best offensive lineman. But when you look at the offensive line and watching them again on Saturday, they are massive. And how they are playing so much more down than they have over the last couple of years. I mean, 59 yards rushing, less than 2 yards a carry, gave up 5 sacks.
Yeah. Now, Kirby, though, is painting a picture like you have all year, Lance, that this is just the NFL now. Here's Kirby Smart after the game.
Take the next round anywhere you go with official Next Round gear. Buy yours today at nextround.store. Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
Alabama basketball winner last night. Janai Brooms, your SEC Player of the Week. 2 big basketball games tonight that doesn't seem as big as they used to. We'll talk about basketball coming up a little bit later on because of that big event at Madison Square Garden. The college football playoff show is squeezed in between those two games, so right about 7:30.
Do you guys like this one or not?
I don't know.
You don't like it when it's between the games? Why?
I like the standalone when I know when it starts. I get the Reese open, and the full throttle. I never watch the breakdown afterwards. I just want the bracket,
the unveiling.
Yeah, but this one I'm having to sit around and wait to see how the Michigan State Kansas game ends, blowout, and just see how it all goes.
It won't be overtime at least, right?
We'll get to basketball, college football. Got a ton of stuff. We got fines. We got fines everywhere. We got bottles hitting cheerleader coaches. It's just a busy day ahead for us. Clay Travis, our only guest right now, with us at 10 Central. That's because predetermined. Peyton Thorne not going to be with us. This was way back. He had something he had to do today, so Peyton Thorne was never ever going to be on the show
That
today.
is correct. Pre-schedule. I don't know if we're overselling that. I just know when Peyton doesn't show up, people like to speculate as to why. This actually was written into the contract at the start of the year.
Well, and I don't think Hugh said anything that was out of the ordinary, right?
He didn't slam the door on a quarterback change.
Yeah, give me cut 7.
You're right. Out of the ordinary is a good way of putting that, I think.
Well, let's hear what Hugh Freeze said yesterday, just so we can just go ahead and get it out of the way. Peyton wasn't going to be here regardless, no matter what Hugh Freeze said today. He did not show up one time earlier this year when he had been benched.
He asked for that week off. I mean, we were upfront with you about that. He reached out. All right, his representation reached out and was like, "Hey, look, we understand what's going on. Is there any way Peyton could sit this week out?" And we're like, "Sure." I mean, if he's uncomfortable, I mean, we don't want to put him.
Well, and I think that was a kick to the junk for Peyton.
Sure
at that point. He thought it was going to be a special season, and he was going to be the leader of this team, and it was going to turn out a lot differently than it did. So, at that moment, and he was big enough to come back, not knowing what the future was.
That's right. He came back and answered all of our questions as nice as he could. So he wasn't going to be here today, no matter what Hugh Freeze said yesterday. And I'm having deja vu so bad right now. So
are you really?
I really
It is
am.
the weirdest feeling.
It is.
Isn't it?
Like I have tossed to this Hugh Freeze soundbite before, I think. In another parallel universe. For little T's sake, I hope they're 6-3 instead of 3-6 in another parallel.
Yeah, I had it in a parking lot on Sunday morning.
Did you really?
Yeah.
I haven't had it in quite a while.
Yeah, it's weird, but I'm having it right now, explaining way over explaining why this soundbite doesnme really matter. Here's Hugh Freeze.
Hugh, you'd mentioned on the teleconference, I think it was Tuesday or Wednesday last week, about looking at the situation at quarterback. Talk to me about where you're standing with that right now.
Well, I mean, Peyton's played solid. It, now he was not able to practice last week with the shoulder, and we'll see how this week goes with that, and with the others getting the reps and kind of go from there. But when I say that, it's certainly not an indication that I don't think he has played pretty solid here as of late. So, but you start kind of thinking big picture, and that's not always the easiest thing to do because, you love your players and you want what's best for all of them. That gives us the best chance to win the remaining 3 games. And obviously we'll start seeing how the health is first and foremost.
Okay, now, Brown, at one point when we were discussing Jalen Milroe earlier this year, we were doing a hypothetical that if you had a starter, you'd frame it up with an injury.
Well, the reason that hypothetical was being discussed is it was like the hot rumor everybody was talking about in the mybookie.ag chat room and asking us about it. So we answered their question and said, if you were going to make a change, sometimes with a veteran that's done a lot for you, you allow him to be hurt rather than benched.
That's right.
That was what we were discussing there. Never did we say Alabama was going to do that or that we knew 100% Jalen Milroe was hurt. It's the courtesy you give to a veteran.
That's right.
It's a courtesy you give to a guy. And look, Auburn fans, I know they'll be fine when the Peyton Thorne era is over. They're not like huge Peyton Thorne fans, but the guy has played a lot of football for you.
I've seen worse.
I've seen worse at Auburn.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
At Auburn, I have seen worse.
Yeah, so, I mean, this guy he's played a lot for you. I don't think he's done anything to embarrass your school.
Nope.
I mean, I think he's been a pretty good representative of Auburn University as a whole. So, I mean, at some point, if you wanted to bench him, you give him the courtesy of him being hurt.
Yeah.
Now, I think I remember him actually getting hurt, though. I do think
No.
He was flexing the shoulder. I guess it was this show. He was flexing the shoulder.
Yeah.
Numerous times in that game. So either he was in on the right, we're going to need you late. Just start revving that shoulder a little bit.
No, I remember it happening and thinking to myself, and then he threw a short pass after that. I mean, it's a legit injury.
Yeah, I think he's legit hurt.
We'll see what happens down the stretch. I will tell you this. From what I've seen at quarterback so far, and really the only game that matters for them now is Alabama. They're not going to a bowl game, right? They got to win the rest of them.
They got to win out.
They win out to go to a bowl game.
Impossible.
That includes wins over Texas A&M and Alabama.
Yeah, but
Clear read, impossible.
Say it again. I think
Impossible.
Say it again. I think I talked on you again.
Stop. Go.
Yeah, so impossible.
Okay, there
So
we
we've got UL Monroe,
That's a win. They're going to beat UL Monroe. I'm here to call it.
A&M.
So like you just called Alabama and Mississippi for Trump.
Yeah, and I'm calling Massachusetts for
I wanted to see where you guys are on this. They're going to beat La Monroe.
They are going to beat La Monroe.
Are they going to beat A&M?
It's not off the table.
It's not off the table.
I mean, games at Jordan here.
Boy, I will
A&M.
tell you, man, what will that do to the A&M Texas game, though?
It would take a lot of air out of it.
Well, no, it'll make it A&M Super Bowl, and the only team that can lose is Texas there.
Yeah.
Which might end up, if you're pulling against Texas, it might be the best scenario, actually. Because would it not be A&M to already be out of it before they beat Texas to knock them out of it?
Yeah, it would feel like the rest of this year has gone. I mean, A&M is 7-2 and 5-1. It is so weird that we're talking about. Yeah, I mean that game's in play for Auburn, but everybody Auburn's played for the most part, really, other than Georgia, and that wasn't a blowout. I mean, Auburn plays everybody close. They just can't figure out a way to win the games.
King MJ205 quick with a hot prediction says Auburn beats Alabama. I would just tell you that if I'm coaching at Auburn right now, I'm going to do whatever's best for me to have a chance to beat Alabama and/or not be embarrassed by Alabama, whichever one can happen. And I think Peyton Thorne is a healthy Peyton Thorne is your best shot. So you can do whatever you want with Hank or anyone else right now against La Monroe or Texas A&M, but.
But no matter what, would go back to Thorne against Alabama. That's what you guys are saying.
I would just roll out with Thorne the rest of the year. Unless, and I said this last week, if you've got your future quarterback on this roster, if you believe there is a 51% chance this guy is on the roster, I just don't think Hugh Freeze thinks that. I think you would have already seen a change. So I just roll out, let Peyton finish out his career. It is your best opportunity to beat A&M and Alabama.
Yeah, I think so too.
What is that Texas A&M point spread, just for giggles?
Right now, I would list A&M as a 4.5-point favorite.
A&M is playing New Mexico State this week, so they'll not lose going into the game. So you think 4.5-point favorite?
Yeah, I think they're a 40-point favorite over New Mexico State.
Yeah, that is not Diego Pavia's New Mexico State.
It is not. It is not.
Yeah, from 4.5 all the way to 6.
Score will be something like 49-7. Yeah. So I think I would play Thorne the rest of the way when he's healthy. Maybe somebody else plays a lot this week. We'll see. But that's why Peyton's not with us today. Predetermined, had nothing to do with Hugh's comments. We'll get back to college football, what we saw in basketball last night coming up. The show being brought to you before we talk about these guys' games last night by our friends at Hemp Hill. They bring you the lock every day. Lance'sLock.com, who's coming off another major Saturday victory. Man, his Saturday's on fire.
Hey, how about
right
this?
Now.
I hated it. And I had a couple of our friends reach out, what's the play tonight? And I said, unfortunately, this is how I answered it, it's the Dolphins.
Never trailed.
And, never trailed. Rams were awful on third downs, awful in the red zone, settled for field goal after field goal, bad penalties. Anyway, with all that said, 7-2 last night. So really, really good night at Lance's Lock.
9 plays last night?
On a Monday?
Dude, have you guys looked at the college basketball board?
I
had to eliminate a bunch.
Yeah.
I was 5-2 in college hoops, 1-0 in the NBA, and then 1-0 in the NFL. I mean, there's just so much college to play.
Random question. Did you have a play on the Boston-UCLA game?
I did not.
Okay, go ahead then.
I did not.
I had that game on.
But anyway, jump on board, Lance'sLock.com. More winners tonight. College football, college basketball, the NBA. Always brought to you by our friends at Hemp Hill Services. Trust the name. Birmingham has trusted since 1954 for all of your plumbing, heating, and cooling issues. Call Adam, Chad, Andrew, the guys there, 205-229-2090 or hemphillservices.com.
The only reason I ask, I had that game on one of the side TVs during Dolphins-Rams, and you never see this anymore. And I don't know if it had to do with Veterans Day or something. I just don't watch a lot of Boston basketball. They're at UCLA. Entire coaching staff, suit and tie. You just never see it anymore in college basketball. Think about that.
Alabama had the salute to service shirts on last night, especially made for last night's game.
Yeah, this was all suit and tie, like dark suit, red tie, because Boston is red. And you never see that in college basketball anymore.
I got to chat in the tunnel last night.
Oh, did you go to the game last night?
I did. Before they walked out at half. You know me, basketball, man.
It's basketball Jim.
Jimmy Buckets.
Jimmy Buckets.
Man, you're putting some miles on that truck.
I am. I told Bo, man, I've already got 8,000 miles on it.
That's right. Time to trade.
I've had it 2 months.
Yeah.
So I'm in the tunnel before halftime because I want to get Grant Nelson walking off to the locker room after his 16 points in the first half for the social media queen Taylor.
By the way, he looks healthy.
He does. He looks healthy.
Playing well.
And not having to play as a big, and that's helping him a little bit too. So I'm waiting in the tunnel. It's Veterans Day, and all of a sudden there are 3 men in U.S. Army uniforms and then 12 18-year-olds.
Oh, yeah. They're about to swear in.
And they at halftime, 12 of them took the oath to become U.S. Army, and I was talking to them, and I was like, so what happens next? And a couple of them this weekend go to their training, and they're scattered over the next few weekends of when they report up for duty, but 12 of them took the oath last night on Veterans Day. It was pretty emotional. I get choked. It happened in Huntsville.
Yeah, we saw it in Huntsville. I've seen it at Talladega. I think they do it at every race at Talladega, and it's really, really cool because those people are either going into the National Guard or the Army or the Navy, Marines, or whatever.
These were all U.S. Army men and women, all races,
and the
creed.
Fans that are there get to immediately thank them. Thank them for going. It's not like one day you're a veteran and thank you for your service. You're thanked the day you go in, which is really cool to me. So I assume the crowd gave them a rousing ovation.
Yes. Crappy video that I shot of it on our social media platform at Next Round Live. Please don't hold Taylor responsible for that video or EG. It was all me. It was crappy, but it's there if you want to just go see what we're talking about there. Back to the NFL game last night. Who got ghosted? It was the end zone that the Rams was going to. The segment brought to you by Ghost Energy, Ghost Hydration. Authentic flavors, zero sugars, no BS. Look for Ghost Energy and Ghost Hydration at all retailers that sell energy and hydration drinks near you. I mean, my goodness, I thought the offense moved the ball. They couldn't get it into the end zone, had to settle for field goal after field goal after field goal after field goal, 5 of them.
Yeah, I mean, 3 of 12 on third downs, 0 of 3 in the red zone. Joshua Carty, the rookie out of Stanford, was, good kicking the football. He made that 52-yarder. And then Bo Lemer, former Arkansas Razorback, who's gotten some starts this year for the Rams, gets the legal procedure. It moves them back 5. He misses a 57-yarder.
A small flinch, too.
I know.
I mean, all he did was that right there.
The Rams were really close. I'll tell you what I thought was the critical moment was 3rd and 13 on the Dolphins' first drive, when Tua was able to extend the play. And one of the reasons I like the Dolphins is because Tua gets it out so quickly, and Aikman was making the point that the Rams, Chris Shula's defense was doing a really good job of pressing them, and they were unable to hit those immediate throws that he's so good at.
Yep.
And he was actually able to extend with his legs a little bit.
He was. Not his best game. He made a lot of mistakes, and it's one of those frustrating games as a Dolphins fan where you watch Tua. Now, you look at the end, he's 20 of 28. But you just watch him, and he takes bad sacks. He holds the ball too long. He gets stripped on a sack. He throws a terrible interception. The Rams dropped 2 more interceptions.
Yeah. You called it bad Tua.
Oh, it's bad Tua. I mean, I see it about 3 times a year. You get bad Tua, and you just know, boy, the defense better play lights out. And they did last night. The defense played very well.
4 sacks.
Yeah.
2 turnovers. Allowed 0 touchdowns, and they allowed only 70 rushing yards.
Yeah, and then forced a fumble to Kyron Williams in some of those rushing yards.
Yeah, and the 4 sacks, going into this, and I had this conversation, I did a hit with somebody last night, and talking about the game, the Dolphins were 31st in sacks, only had 10 sacks in their first 8 games, and they had 4 last night. Yep. And the Rams' offensive line, besides Rob Havenstein, was completely whole, finally. They had gotten everybody back. Now they looked like they were a little out of sync. It didn't play well last night. I thought Stafford played okay. He missed a couple of throws, but the Rams didn't consistently. Started running the football with Kyron Williams in the second half.
He missed that touchdown late. He had Kyron Williams for a touchdown, which would have changed the game. Dolphins got a huge break.
And I know you got to go for the field goal there, but I kind of wanted to go for the 2 or go for the touchdown to know what was going to happen on the next possession if the Dolphins went down and got 3, which they did.
They did. The elephant in the room in the game, though, is Tua. And he threw a terrible interception over the middle. And I'm yelling at the TV because he's still pursuing the play. And I'm like,
yeah, I sent Brown a text. I don't know if you might not have got to see it.
Yeah.
But he tried to make a tackle last night. and he gets a knee to the head.
Knee to the head. He goes low, like he is at least not dumb enough to try to hit a linebacker up high.
So really, that was a worse hit than the one that knocked him out the last game, because that was really like a hip.
It
when he ran the football, right?
That's right.
So
Yeah.
he actually took a knee to the head.
Yeah, and his head, I mean, you can see it bends bad. So there was a game a couple years ago. It was the Christmas Day game against Green Bay where Miami built a big lead, and Tua got a concussion in the first half, and it was undiagnosed. And he came back in the second half, and I remember saying to nobody in particular, because it was Christmas and we were at my in-laws and I was the only one watching, Tua's out of it. Something has happened here. I mean, he was making terrible, uncharacteristic decisions from first half to second half.
Playing with a cloud.
Yeah, and he ended up, he threw 3 picks in that second half. He was playing with a concussion, and they had to shut him down the rest of the year. And I was fearful, and I texted Lance that had happened last night, because the rest of the first half, he just wasn't right. Now, he came back and played much better in the second half. But, I mean, you keep, sometimes you just keep hoping something's going to change, and then you realize it's just never going to change. I keep hoping Tua's going to play smarter, and he just doesn't. And I don't know what's going to have to happen for him to play smarter. I mean, you would think, as much time as he's missed because of concussions, I think I can speak for every Dolphins fan. Walk off the field. Let him score.
Oh, yeah.
I'd rather give up 7 points in that game than you be out for the rest of the season.
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers would let him score.
And I really don't have a problem with that. And I know it kind of goes against the grain of the football culture.
Yeah.
But Aaron Rodgers is your investment. The last thing I want Aaron Rodgers doing is something he doesn't normally do, which is try to make a tackle.
Tom Brady would probably let him score.
Yeah.
In the end of his career.
Yeah. So, but
Dan Marino would have let him score.
If you can,
Joe Montana would have let him score.
Yeah. I mean, Tua of all people needs to let him score.
Where are you on Mike McDaniels?
It's the offense has regressed. That was the whole appeal to him, is he's got this high-powered offense, and you don't have to be that good defensively. But even with Tua healthy this year, the offense hasn't been great. You saw it last night.
Was it hot and rainy? Because I did catch a lot of the second half.
It was inside.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. He looked like he had been out in a rainstorm when he walked over to shake
Didn't see any rain.
I mean, it rained inside that stadium for TCU and Georgia.
Was it high humid?
Yeah.
High humidity inside? Because he looked sweaty, like he had been an afternoon game when he ran over there.
Lance, I am undecided. This year, I've always been behind Mike McDaniel, but this year has been tough just because his forte has not been good. Before Tua got hurt against the Bills, they were not good against Jacksonville offensively. They were not good in that game against Buffalo. Then he got hurt. I'm not going to hold him to backup quarterbacks in the NFL. I'm not going to judge him.
I get that. I just thought that they ran the ball so well when he was in San Francisco with Kyle Shanahan. And I thought that would be the difference and really open up things for Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill.
Yeah.
And I know Tyreek Hill's he finally got a touchdown last night after 7 consecutive games of not having one.
Longest of his career.
Yeah, and I know he's got to be kind of miserable this year. And it's funny how one game can change things, because you guys had lost 3 consecutive games. The Rams had won 3 consecutive games, and Troy Aikman said after the game, that might be the one the Rams look back on.
Yeah.
Now the Rams have got to go across country to play New England, which, that's a tricky game to go into Foxborough and win.
Yeah, 4 of your 5 losses for the Rams have been one possession. But for the Dolphins, they've got the Raiders
winnable
and the Patriots. The next 2 games could get them to 5 and 6, and then you can start talking playoff scenarios for them. So that's a lot on these 2 guys' favorite NFL teams. They played each other last night. Show being brought to you by our friends at Hydra Live, getting you ready for another week in college football. We'll jump into what we saw in basketball last night and what's ahead tonight in basketball from the Tide, and a big award for one Auburn Tiger. But tell us about Hydra Live.
Yeah, B12 injections, cryotherapy, compression therapy, IV therapy, and now weight loss therapy, all under one roof. Make sure you mention the next round, 20% off all the great services. You can actually register online. You can have a nurse actually come to your home or business. Walk-ins are welcome. HydroLifeTherapy.com. 2 locations in Birmingham, Homewood, Highway 119 in Greystone, also Tuscaloosa. Again, very important to mention the next round, 20% off all of those great services. Again, for more information, HydroLifeTherapy.com.
And our friends at Way to Wellness, personalized weight loss plans that works for you. That includes the medical weight loss with supervision from Leslie and her board-certified team. With the injections and your weight loss plan there, they can help you lose the weight you want to lose in time for a big event coming up, whether it's for the holidays, a big wedding, maybe it's just for the beach and the lake next summer. They do that for you right there at Way to Wellness. Their website's aplanforme.com, aplanforme.com. They also have the meal replacements, all certified board professionals there taking care of you. No contracts, no sign-up fees, and that first consultation is free. A friend of mine went by there last week and was just blown away at how, first off, easy it seems to be to get the information with that free evaluation, but also just how fun it was to hang out with Leslie and her team over there. They're going to make it fun and easy for you to lose weight. Aplanforme.com, aplanforme.com. Alabama beats McNeese last night, 72-64. Really wasn't that close until late when McNeese went on a 14-0 run, 21-4 run to get back in the game, but Bama led by 21 at one point in the second half. Grant Nelson, 16 in the first half, 22 points overall. And I'm going to let you hear Nate Oates first. And before he even said this, I didn't know he said this until I saw Forrester put it down here. But as I was watching the game last night, just layman here, I was like, man, the offense seems to be still looking for chemistry. You have so many players, and they don't seem to be playing as fast as they did in the two exhibition games that we saw. Last two games, Arkansas State and now McNeese State, those two coaches have done a good job of slowing down Alabama's offense, especially on the perimeter. And then Nate Oates noticed the same thing afterwards. Here's the Bama coach after the win.
Yeah, Nate, how would you assess just the movement on offense you're seeing overall from your guys and how they're kind of carrying themselves on the floor?
Not good enough. This game wasn't. I didn't like it. I thought it took us. We didn't play with pop. We didn't push the ball up the floor enough. We ended up with 68 possessions on offense. If you look at, I think, I don't have the exact numbers in my head right now, but the four previous games, if you count the two exhibitions, I think we were in the 80s on maybe three of them, maybe all four of them. So I think Memphis was like high 80s. So, to have like 20 less possessions, that's not really how we're trying to play. Now, good thing is Purdue's going to slow it down, I'd guess, knowing what their playing style's been for a long time up there. So, we're going to have to win some games where the other team tries to slow it down. We're just going to have to be a lot more efficient in the possessions we get.
And see, that's it now, because now the schedule gets juicy. On the road, true road game, Friday night at Purdue.
Oh, 5 of the next 6 opponents are top 25 opponents. I mean, this schedule is about to get real. And, what was interesting to me is Nate's got to figure out the rotation and how guys are going to get minutes and how these guys, as you mentioned, are going to play together. And only 7 guys scored last night, which is kind of interesting with as deep as this team is.
Would you write some of it off to the familiarity those last 2 coaches have with Nate Oates?
Yes.
One coached with him forever, and one coached against him a lot.
For those that haven't paid attention, strong ass offer Will Wade is the coach for McNeese. They won 30 games last year. And I think we're an 11 seed in the NCAA tournament. They have a lot of those guys back. Now, I don't think they've won a game yet. I think they're 0-2 now.
No, they were 1-1 last night.
1-1, okay.
Yeah.
They had lost one.
Lost to South Dakota State.
Yeah, who's not a bad team.
No. Lost by double digits was weird. And then they played the Bible College. I forgot what it was.
It was the College of Biblical Studies or something
right.
like that, which you kind of feel bad about beating them.
But back to the
They beat them
30-plus
like the Old Testament.
wins last year, it was one of the top 4 turnarounds in college basketball history from one year to the next.
So Wade's got experience. They had a guy that was playing really good offensively, the Baker kid that was throwing everything in. But it's about Alabama, and it just, to your point, Brown, they have a lot of players, and it still looks to me like they're searching for their chemistry playing together. And I just wonder if you're playing a big, deep rotation, how long that takes to work out, and eventually do you have to whittle it down and play less players so that they have the chemistry?
Well, I think, I've seen several people, and we got this reaction last night, saying they wish they had not redshirted Houston Millett. That was announced right before the start of the season.
Who was saying, the fans?
Yeah. Several fans are like, man, I wish they had not redshirted Houston Millett. We could use him as a shooter, which, Lance, you got to see him. You really liked him in the Memphis game we did.
I mean, just no conscience. I mean, a guy, see ball, shoot ball. I mean, it was immediate.
Yeah, and for those that don't know, he transferred from Pepperdine. He's got a knee injury. They decided with his family the best thing to do is get that knee 100% healthy and then play a full season next year. And Youngblood is still coming back from injury. I don't think he's expected back until maybe middle of next month, middle of next month.
No walking boot, walking around. Actually, loose balls during shoot around and warm ups. He was chasing those down and feeding them back to players. So he's out there starting to move better, but not close to action, not even dressed yet.
So I think a lot of people think he would help their shooting, getting Youngblood back in there. So I don't know what your starting five is when everybody's healthy. I mean, obviously Sears.
Obviously Grant Nelson.
Obviously Grant Nelson. I think obviously Amore is going to start for you. So I think those are guaranteed 3. I guess Youngblood and Reitzel.
Reitzel and Sears had 15 last night.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know the rotation, and I don't know how you play it. Nate Oates he's going to figure that out.
I mean, it's hard to keep Phylon off the court.
No, he's a starter.
Yeah. Well, I know, but I've named 5 guys there, and I didn't mention Phylon. So.
Yeah. It's like putting 16 teams into the college football 12-team playoffs. I know what you're saying, Brown. Yeah. And we knew that was going to be the question, right? It was going to be the question all year long. How do you manage 12 guys, now 11 guys who basically would be starters at just about every SEC school or some SEC schools? They've got a lot of guys, a lot of talent over there. So coming off of a 3-0 start, Alabama goes to Purdue for their first major regular season game coming up Friday night. 6 o'clock game is only on Peacock, streaming only on Peacock, that great Big Ten television package that they have a variety of different items on, streaming only on Peacock, coming up Friday night for Alabama. Auburn coming off their big signature win over Houston. Janai Broome is your SEC Player of the Week. If I read the release from Marlene, who handles Auburn's media, and sends out information to us, it's only the second time in Janai Broome's career that he's been the SEC Player of the Week. I find that hard to believe.
I mean, the guy's played a lot of basketball at Auburn. And they give it, I guess, so if they're doing a Player of the Week right now, so they give out how many of them? 20? Is that right?
Yeah.
Oh, that's probably right.
Yeah.
He averaged 16 and 8 in the 2 wins over Vermont and Houston. And now they play against Kent State on Wednesday. Then I think they get North Alabama, and then it gets really legit for Auburn as well. Taylor sent out for Next Round Live yesterday just the schedule ahead for Auburn and Alabama. I think each play 13 of the top 25 teams in this week's schedule coming up on the schedule. So good stuff for Auburn and Alabama basketball straight ahead. And congratulations to Janai Broome. And NLT, you knew this was going to happen at Arkansas yesterday. Considered by many to be the best shooting guard in next year's recruiting class, 5-star shooting guard Malik Thomas picked Arkansas over UConn and others. He's from that overtime elite team in Atlanta, and he picks Arkansas. Who's got the biggest NIL?
I'm going to say it's probably Arkansas.
Yeah, I think it's Arkansas.
Arkansas, Calipari. Comparing him to Dillingham, the guy they also got from overtime Atlanta, this kid that's coming in to help out Arkansas next year. So we're off and rolling. There's a little NFL, a little college football, a little basketball to get going. When we come back, we will talk about maybe the most disappointing 2 coaches in college football right now. That's coming up next. The show being brought to you by our friends at MyBookie, mybookie.ag, where we're getting ready for a big showdown weekend in Athens, Georgia, where Tennessee and Georgia playing for one team their playoff lives. MyBookie.ag. Brandon, what's the line on that game, and what are we looking at over there?
Well, we got code next round at mybookie.ag. Code next round is what you use when you sign on there. You're going to make your initial deposit at mybookie.ag. They are going to double that deposit when you use code next round. That is absolutely free money you could play with right away at mybookie.ag. Mybookie.ag, code next round. Right now, Jimmy D, the Georgia Bulldogs, a 9.5-point home favorite over the Tennessee Volunteers. Total of 48.5 in that game. If you are so inclined to play it, you can play it right there at mybookie.ag. And don't forget code next round when you sign on. Code next round might seem a little small for LSU going to Florida. LSU only a 4-point favorite in Gainesville, coming off that thrashing at the hands of Alabama. Florida coming off the thrashings at the hands of the Texas Longhorns. So 2 teams licking their wounds there. And Auburn, still a 24-point favorite over ULM there at Jordan-Hare Stadium. MyBookie.ag, code next round. That is where you go to play all the games. Code next round at mybookie.ag.
Call the next round now at 205-734-0923.
Thanksgiving is here, and let the New York Butcher Shop be the place to get all of your holiday meal items. Their premium turkeys are fresh, free-range, and hormone-free. The New York Butcher Shop also has a wide selection of chef-prepared side items to help save you time in the kitchen. Pick up a bottle of wine, and your meal will be complete. Turkeys are selling fast, so place your order today. 2 locations to serve you, in Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop. Rare quality, well done service.
By now, you guys know how I feel about my fashion. However, did you know that I care about your fashion choices? Cargo shorts are out, flip-flops are only appropriate on the boat, and please throw away that stained t-shirt from college. You may be thinking, EG, that's all I own. What do I do? Here's what you do. Go to nextround.store and fill your cart with a wardrobe that is approved by me. Stock up on logo t-shirts, hoodies for football season, and hats for every day of the week. Trust me on this one and head over to nextround.store to get stocked up for this season.
Just because you've quit going to the gym, it doesn't mean that you have to quit gym altogether. Dunaway, that is. With our Next Round podcasts open 24/7, 365, you can access gym anytime you'd like. While you may have done away with your treadmill routine, our version of Dunaway is standing by ready to get you back to your absolute best. Find all that lovely Jimmy D-led content on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and in the podcast section of nextroundlive.com. This message is sponsored by Jimmy Crypto Inc. and Jimmy Crypto for President.
From the creators of The Next Round comes two new sites, covercrimson.com and thebarnauburn.com. Two team sites with the same excitement and information-driven content that you get every day on The Next Round. Live daily shows, recorded shows, free of charge, plus premium content with insider information starting at just $1. And it's the perfect gift for the Alabama or Auburn fan in your family. Covercrimson.com or thebarnauburn.com. Sign up today.
Happy football season. At The Next Round, we strive to make our loyal listeners feel like they're a part of the action all season long. My name is Emily Grace McWhorter, and I do that by bringing you along for any given Saturday in Auburn or Tuscaloosa. From pregame warm-ups, touchdowns that make you feel a part of the play, and everything in between, our goal is to make you feel like you're inside Bryant-Denny or Jordan-Hare. Follow along on our social media at Next Round Live on Instagram, X, and Facebook. Also, check out thebarnauburn.com and covercrimson.com while you're at it. Here's to fall Saturdays.
Hey, this is Matt Roth, the franchisee of Walk On Sports Bistro in Birmingham. With the kickoff of football season, come visit us at one of our 3 locations, Stadium Trace, Greystone, or Trussville. Come enjoy our scratch kitchen menu while watching one of our 80 TVs. Whether you're looking for a pre- or post-game celebration, game day, or date night, we've got you covered. It's all about the win at Walk On Sports Bistro. Walk On, where everybody needs a little playing time.
Buying that perfect home is one of the most important financial decisions you'll ever make, so it's crucial that you have the right partner to help you through the process. Hi, I'm Lisa Zeig, Vice President Mortgage Loan Officer for Bryant Bank, and I'm here to tell you that we are that partner, making it easy to buy with confidence. We offer a variety of mortgage products to fit your unique home buying situation. That kind of hassle-free approach might not be what you'd expect from a bank, but it's exactly what you can expect from us. Give me a call today or visit one of our 18 offices across the state of Alabama and let me show you what banking beyond expectation is all about.
From the creators of The Next Round comes two new sites, covercrimson.com and thebarnauburn.com. Two team sites with the same excitement and information-driven content that you get every day on The Next Round. Live daily shows, recorded shows, free of charge, plus premium content with insider information starting at just $1. And it's the perfect gift for the Alabama or Auburn fan in your family. Covercrimson.com or thebarnauburn.com. Sign up today.
Before LT tells you about CPAP Plus, I'll tell you upset alert today coming up at 10:30 in about an hour. Bandit has struggled. We'll see if he's here, if he's in hiding.
Coming off a win. Why would he hide? It's a dub last week for the Bandit, Jim. You keep the score.
Do we have a new leader?
We probably do.
We don't have a new leader, but it is
Matthew
very
Brown, the
close.
Bandit won.
Oh, I have to keep telling Dunaway what the Bandit did.
Can you show me the standings? 1 hour from
Please.
now, we'll do our picks, but updated standings for us, sir. He'll pull it up here in just a second, just to put this nonsense to rest here. The Bandit did get 5 points.
What, you were talking about being in hiding. He's come off a win. If he was going to hide.
I mean, with what LT did and
that was
a
impressive.
little bit of what I did.
It was impressive, too.
Yeah.
I mean, Lance probably, that's why I'm surprised there isn't a new leader, because I thought Lance may have taken an insurmountable lead.
Well, he was in third, so he insurmountable.
I thought I probably did, too.
He got 16 and a half points.
It's late.
That's a lot of points.
That's a lot of points. We're late November. I mean,
I got 12 and a half. or whatever 8-5 is.
Late November, man.
Yeah.
Late November.
Anyway, here's the standings: 62.5, 54.5, 33 is the Brown Bandit. We should just put Bandit up there. We should take Brown off, just the Bandit.
Whatever.
So a lot closer. A lot closer at the
LT's
top.
closed the gap. There is no doubt.
Are you trying to put pressure on me today?
That's an important pick for you, I think. Do we only do this through the regular season? You've only got 3 regular season weeks left. And Lance is closing fast.
Yeah. He is, Brown. Thanks for cheering for me. I hope the Bandit doesn't hit another one ever.
You don't have to hope too hard on that normally.
I hope we have to unmask him. Loser leaves town at some point.
Oh, no.
Aren't the Kelseys moving out of the country?
The Kelseys are?
I thought I heard that.
No, not J.C. Kelce. He's over there doing push-ups in the end zone.
Here's Chris Stewart on the Crimson Tide Sports Network.
I haven't even seen that.
Kicking field goals in Tim's. Did you guys see that?
I did not. Which Kelce was that?
I think it was Jason. He was in the big Timberland boots, and he
did he
tried
make
to
it?
kick a field goal for charity or something. He missed horribly.
That's the thing on the McAfee deal, man. On game day, those kids are wearing, like one kid had on square toe boots, and Herb Street was like, "You're gonna have to kick this straight on. You're wearing a square toe." The kid kept trying to do it soccer style. Herb Street's like, "Listen to me.
Yeah.
You're wearing a square toe boot. You've got to kick this straight on."
Yeah, it almost
Yes.
it almost went directly to the left.
Yeah. This was from the Penn State game. Yeah. Jason Kelce, what an outfit. He's got him some lace-up boots.
This was after he'd smashed the phone.
That's like who was the kid that hit at the living room wall for Alabama back in was it 18?
Yeah, in the 2017 national championship game. Yeah, kick that thing out of the side of the end zone.
Yeah, Chris Stewart on the Crimson Tide Sports Network this past week. A lot of fans loved this. There were a few fans didn't, but some people take their football a little too serious. Blowout situation down there, calling Baton Rouge, very popular song. A lot of songs they play down in Louisiana around there, LSU football. Chris Stewart and the Crimson Tide Sports Network here had a little, just in case it got into a blowout situation, had this one queued and ready to go with the music to break.
Just enough time to get down your fiddle, get down your bow. They hardly beat Saban. Apparently can't beat DeBow. We're back after this on the Crimson Tide Sports Network from Learfield.
I enjoyed that. That was really a good time over there.
Tyler loved it. Look, I hadn't seen Tyler laugh hard in a while.
Tyler Watts, hard to make that kid laugh.
Yeah.
CPAP Plus will help you with your sleep, LT.
If you're looking for the best CPAP gear out there with personal service you can trust, visit CPAP Plus. 3 convenient locations: Pelham, Highway 280, Trustful. You can also Google CPAP Plus, where you're going to find hundreds of 5-star reviews. Trust CPAP Plus for all of your CPAP needs. CPAP Plus, where every night matters. Stop by today. You're going to find the best service and equipment all in stock, ready for you. And also for the next round viewer and listener to get a $20 credit towards the purchase of a new mask, CPAP cleaner, or even a travel CPAP machine. Again, get into one of those 3 locations. Go see the O'Neill brothers and tell them the next round sent you.
JT83, he was playing off of Louisiana Saturday Night, Jim.
Oh, Mel McDaniel song, Jimmy D.
Yeah, I'm familiar with the song. That's why I queued it up for the show, JT83.
The old Louisiana Saturday
All
Night.
right. Okay, disappointing coaches right now.
A lot of them.
There are. But are there any bigger than Brian Kelly and Lincoln Riley right now?
Hugh Freeze right there. I mean, I know the programs aren't even close to being the same.
One's in year 2.
Let's discuss.
And both of those guys are in year 3. But both of those guys have accomplished something. Hugh Freeze has done absolutely nothing. It's been a complete embarrassment for 2 years.
And you're as big a Hugh Freeze supporter as
I am.
I mean,
Lincoln Riley, they won 11 games. They played for a conference championship. He's had a Heisman winner in the first years. I mean, Lincoln Riley and Brian Kelly are very similar.
A good point. Both have had Heisman winners, haven't really won anything yet.
Yeah, but they have won some games.
Yeah.
I want to come back to something. I don't want to hijack this. I want to come back to something.
No, you were going down a good road here.
Well, I just wanted to ask Lance, like after, and you may have already done this. I don't know. It's not something we talk about a lot. But after Saturday, you had always said if Auburn wants to hire the better coach, they'll hire Hugh Freeze. He's the better coach.
Yep.
After Saturday,
I can't say Lane Kiffin is the. I mean,
that's what people want you to say, though.
I know Lane Kiffin has accomplished much more with Ole Miss. What year are we now for Kiffin? Is it 4 or 5?
Was it 2000 his first year there, I think? Am I right about that?
2000?
I thought
2020.
so.
It was
2020,
2019, I believe. I think he had one.
I mean, 2020. I don't know why I said 2000.
You were thinking pandemic.
I was. I thought it was the pandemic year, but I'll look it up right here. He started in 2020 at Ole Miss.
Yeah.
I mean, he's obviously accomplished more at Ole Miss than what Freeze has at,
not even
at
close.
Auburn, but that's an unfair comparison. I just wondered if you had moved in your mind to Freeze being the better of the two coaches now.
You mean to Kiffin?
Kiffin. Boy, could I have butchered this anymore. Kiffin being the better of the two coaches.
Well, we talked about it yesterday. I think most people would agree it's not only Kiffin's biggest win, it was, as Klatt said, his most mature game as a head coach. We kind of talked about pregame and how he was acting and how he acted after the game, and it did seem like a different Kiffin. With all that said, that's his first major win. Now,
it is.
He can go on and maybe win a national championship this year. I mean, I don't think it's completely off the table. You've got a quarterback that can make plays. You've got a dominant defense. Trey Harris comes back. I mean, they are going to be a really, really difficult out.
They run the football well.
Yeah, so that could absolutely change everything. Look, I could be wrong on this. I'm just saying coming into this season or going back 2 years ago, and I thought it looked pretty good when Lane Kiffin looked like he was pulling a Dennis Franchione, right? And he was concentrating more on the Auburn job.
Yeah. So back to your question. I think to be fair, let's talk about the situation each of them took over, if we're going to judge them as disappointments right now.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I guess let's go West Coast, East Coast. Let's start with Lincoln Riley. Lance can answer this better than any of us. You're a USC fan. The situation Lincoln Riley took over was what?
It was
a B-.
I will tell you, it's.
I mean, Clay Helton was not awful.
Yeah, it wasn't awful. I would say it was a C. I'm trying to think of a legitimate comparison.
About what Harbaugh took over at Michigan way back in the day.
Yeah, maybe that was a little worse.
So,
Clay Helton wasn't awful.
I think a C or B- is fair.
Yeah, I would think a C.
Brian Kelly at LSU. He took over for Ed Orgeron.
That was kind of a D situation.
Remember, they only had 30-something scholarship players in that bowl game.
It had fallen off very quickly after the national championship.
In 1 year. It had fallen off in 1 year, basically.
Yeah, and that was probably a D. I mean, he probably took over a worse situation than Lincoln Riley. And then we get to Hugh Freeze, where a lot of people are going to say Hugh Freeze took over an F or a D.
Yeah, I would say of those three, Hugh took over the worst situation.
I would think you're probably correct.
Yeah, but here's the problem. It hadn't gotten any better.
Yeah, I mean, it
hasn't yet.
I mean, because, the one thing that kind of differentiates the two, Horson and Freeze, it looks like Freeze is doing a good job recruiting, but the roster ain't good.
Yeah.
So
then, now that we've established that, let's go back to the West Coast again. Lincoln Riley has taken a C situation and made it into what?
Well,
look good early.
Yeah, this year is still a C situation.
The crazy thing is, look, Caleb Williams is the ultimate equalizer or would take it to a different level, but I think this is the best overall team he's had. I know the results aren't there, so that sounds really stupid, but I do think this is the most talented roster he's had.
And Brian Kelly took over an F or a D and turned it into what?
See, and I think this might be his least talented roster.
I mean, would you say the Brian Kelly era at LSU's a B?
At LSU?
Yeah, Brian Kelly at LSU. Just consider everything he's done at LSU. Would you give him a B?
B-.
B-?
Need to see how this. If he goes 9-3 this year, go back. I mean, what is it? 10 wins, 9 wins,
and a Heisman Trophy winner. He's played in an SEC championship game.
Yeah, I mean that's not awful.
It's not awful.
You in these situations, at some point you got to start selling the future, right? If you're having the years that these three teams are trending towards now, LSU trending down and Auburn not going to have the year they thought, and USC not going to have the year they thought. Currently at 24/7 team rankings, Alabama 1 in recruiting, Ohio State 2, Georgia 3, LSU 4, Auburn 5, and then USC is 10th.
Yeah,
I mean, not as bad as I thought USC was, because you don't hear about a lot of USC players lately. They did good early on. Can they hold on to them? You got 3 coaches that are top 10 recruiters.
You were at the game, so you did not see this, and I don't know if Lance had the volume up in the fourth quarter, but pretty much the entire fourth quarter, Valor and Herbstreit talked about how LSU's got to get after recruiting. They got to recruit their way out of this. Which, boy, when you're a fan watching that,
that's tough to hear.
It's tough to hear, man. Yeah. That I mean, you watched it with your own 2 eyes, Dunaway. Did Alabama look personnel-wise that much better than LSU?
Yeah. They looked faster and stronger.
They did. I mean, LSU.
I'll tell you one example. Early, it was the first down pickup before Milroe ran the first touchdown, first drive. I can't remember if it was Jam or Justice. He's hit 1 yard by number 40 for LSU's linebacker. He's hit 1 yard behind the sticks.
Yeah.
And the running back carries him past the sticks for a first down. I mean, there were many occasions in that where Alabama looked stronger. They looked faster than the LSU players. They don't have the receivers they used to have. Neither does Alabama, but LSU doesn't have the receivers they used to have. I think Alabama's closer to what they used to have than LSU is right now. Their quarterback play is not great. I think their play calling is not great. Their coaching isn't great. I mean, the whole setup isn't great.
Well, what was good?
I mean, Brown, I saw virtually a 42-6 take away a garbage touchdown at the end.
Fake lion
versus 2.
Or fake tiger.
Fake lion.
Nussmeier's not getting any better. That was billed as maybe the best offensive line coming into football. And the offensive line really hasn't been the problem. I don't know. To me, LSU needs to get back to the basics of running the football, which they have not been able to run the football in years.
I did think that Herb Street was being kind to Brian Kelly. And Lance, you heard this, and so it's harder for you to see this at the game, Jim. But some of the Milroe runs, Herb Street basically said, boy, LSU's doing them a favor in their alignment. Did you notice Herb Street saying that? And he was saying it in a very nice way. He was not like, I don't know what LSU is doing here.
Yeah.
But a couple times Herb Street's like, if you look at LSU's alignment, they've done Alabama a huge favor here in Milroe's runs. I mean, that is just, if I'm an LSU fan watching that, I'm like, what are our coaches doing? You knew this was a problem, and you knew you're about to face the best running quarterback in America.
And you're coming off a bye.
Yeah, you're coming off a bye, about to face the best running quarterback in America. And you're still not even lining up right. Like, it's not that I don't have the players to execute it. I'm not even lining up properly. I mean, that's alarming, man.
Yeah, and that's the new defensive coordinator. If you got rid of the guy last year whose LSU's defense was trash last year. And so was USC's, by the way.
Yeah, it was, yes.
Yeah, in both of these coaching situations.
And by the way, the defenses are improved.
They are. They are.
Look, and I know you lost 2 generational quarterbacks in Jaden Daniels and Caleb Williams.
They cover up a lot.
Yeah, but Lincoln Riley is not supposed to have that excuse. Lincoln Riley is a quarterback guru. This is what's really disturbing. In Lincoln Riley, what are we talking, like year 9 or 10 as a head coach going back to Oklahoma? This is his worst quarterback situation he's ever had. He is benching a quarterback in the month of November.
But to close the loop on this, because we said Lincoln Riley has taken a C, and he had it higher, but it's a C right now. Brian Kelly took an F. It's probably overall a B-. Hugh Freeze took over an F or D. Where does he have it right now?
I mean, they're 3-6.
It's kind of hard to say anything other than an F or a D, isn't it?
Other than recruiting is better than it was.
Oh, yeah, recruiting has undoubtedly improved. You cannot, even going back to late Gus Malzahn.
I think this is a more frustrating situation for Auburn fans, and I could be wrong, because it is one thing to pay a guy a lot of money and you feel like recruiting is effort. Recruiting is outselling the program, believing in the program.
And he's doing that now.
Yeah, so that's what I was going to say, though. But coming into it, there were so many people that were like, damn, this Harsin thing ain't a fit. I said initially I thought he had done a B job with an A program in Boise State, but I did like the out of the box hire, but it was a strange hire.
It was.
But I think coming into it, Auburn fans were much more comfortable with Hugh Freeze and his familiarity and his success in the past in the SEC. So I think when you look at them side by side, you can make an argument that Auburn fans, where they are right now in year 2, are more disappointed in Hugh Freeze than they were Brian Harsin.
People in the MyBookie.ag chat room are asking why you did not include Mike Norvell in this.
I hadn't got to him yet.
There were more. Okay.
Yeah, we were just talking these 3.
Yeah,
Mike
gotcha.
Norvell has gone from 13-0 regular season and getting blown out in the Orange Bowl to 1, and maybe that's it for the season. They may win 1 game. They have one of the nation's longest losing streaks now.
That's impossible.
Yeah, one of the nation's longest losing streaks now. Florida State. Kent State's got 18 straight losses. Purdue's got 8. Surprisingly, Oklahoma State's on a 7-game losing streak. Southern Miss is on a 7-game losing streak. And then there's Florida State with the 5th longest losing streak in college football with 6 straight games.
Well, and they've lost 10 of 11. So they had that weird Cal game. If you played it again, Cal would beat them 9 out of 10 times, but they won the game.
And then you would be looking at them going 0 for the season.
But think about, they've lost 10 of 11. Like, even the worst organizations in the NFL don't lose 10 of 11. Like, that's really difficult to do.
Yeah.
And there is not a world that we live in that Florida State shouldn't have better talent than 90% of the ACC, and they're losing to everyone in the ACC. And people used to be scared to death of that program, that helmet.
But
and
how
it's
do you-
completely gone.
But how do you judge Norvell there? Do you judge him off of last year, or do you judge him off of this year and the years before last year?
The problem for him is last year was the outlier. Now, he did have a 10-win season the year before.
Yeah, and that was the problem. Is like I forgot what year one was, but
I got it right here.
Yeah, I mean he
so
went
year
up
one
every
was
year.
3-6, 2-6. Now it was a COVID year.
Yep.
So you throw that one out, okay? So his real year one, legitimate year one, is 2021, 5-7, 4-4. Year two, 10-3, 5-3. You showed tremendous improvement, plus 5 games overall. Year three, 13-1, 8-0. If your quarterback doesn't get hurt, you're in the college football playoff. So you've shown great improvement, plus 3 from 10, which is hard to do. And now you may be 1-11. I mean, it's the biggest fall off in college football history. We've never seen anything like this.
And it's the $1 million question: what is more difficult, building or maintaining a program? He actually built it, but guess what? He ain't maintained it.
Nope.
Yeah, and Matt Rule, you got to throw in here a little bit too, because this was supposed to be such a big year. And yesterday they take away our buddy Marcus Satterfield from calling plays. He'll remain on the staff as tight end coach. And Dana Holgerson, who's basically been in the building 2 weeks, is now going to call plays down the stretch as they try to get that magical 6th win to become bowl eligible. Now, that will be a feat. That'll be a step forward if they just get to bowl eligibility. But they have played a number of games now with bowl eligibility on the line, yet to get that magical 6th win.
So do you criticize him for being that bad offensively, or do you say, hey, at least he recognized it and went and fixed it? I mean, I think if you make a bowl game, you have to say, look, to Matt Rule's credit, midseason he realized his deficiencies and he took a drastic step to fix them.
And
if that
is
works,
a true freshman quarterback that you believe is going to be a future star. There's a lot of potential there. You just want to see Nebraska start winning some of these close games.
Yeah, they are one of those that you go back and look at several games throughout the year. They've lost some close ones too. One more thing on college football before we get to Clay Travis at the top of the hour. Show being brought to you by our friends at Michelson Laser Vision. Tell us about Michelson.
Yeah, make the phone call today, 205-969-8100. If you wear the glasses or contacts, you're wasting money each and every year. I'm speaking from experience. I wore the contacts for more than a decade. After I went in, got the procedure done, took 12 minutes for both eyes. 2015 vision, better than 2020. It's been like that for over 21 years. Make the phone call that I made. Ask for Amy. Tell her the next round sent you. They're going to hook you up with a hassle-free consultation. You have 0 to lose to find out if LASIK is right for you. Dr. Mark Michelson, Dr. Jen Michelson, best in the business, 205-969-8100 or michelsonlaservision.com.
And our friends at the Pants Store, great locations, the original in Leeds, and then you got a couple here in Birmingham, one in Huntsville, one just off campus in Tuscaloosa, and the same down in Auburn, Alabama, your game day headquarters, and also your Alabama-Auburn fan Christmas gift headquarters. For the Bama Auburn polos, sweatshirts, hats, quarter zips, they've got it all there. Gentile, Antigua, Cutter Buck, Horn Legend, all the ladies' dresses and fall wear and team wear for the ladies with free alterations, free gift wrapping as well at the Pants Store anywhere in America. Pantstore.com, pantstore.com. Footwear too, with great deals on New Balance and Hoka there at the Pants Store. Those 6 locations and more, plus pantstore.com. Nothing says Roll Tide in War Eagle like the Pants Store. Jerry Faust has passed away. A lot of you don't know who Jerry Faust is. He was one time probably the best high school coach in the nation. He coached Moeller High School, major high school in Cincinnati, where a lot of Notre Dame players left Moeller High School and went to play at Notre Dame back in the day. Moeller is in Cincinnati. Jerry Faust was 90-3 before at high school. 90 wins, 3 losses over 8 years at Moeller High School, the top level of high school football in the state of Ohio. So he got pulled straight from high school to be the head coach at Notre Dame in 1981. He passes away at the age of 89, and he's remembered for going 30-26-1 at Notre Dame. He went on to coach in the MAC and was really successful for 9 years, but he was known as a great high school coach and an experiment at the Notre Dame program that didn't go well.
Yeah, and I think what bad adjective here, or bad verb, I should say, what killed him was the Akron loss when he was at Notre Dame, right?
Yes.
I think Notre Dame actually in his first season as head coach lost to Akron, or maybe it was towards the end.
That's odd because that's where he ended up coaching. I think it was Akron. Yeah.
But I think that's the one where Notre Dame fans were like, my gosh. But yeah, I remember because that was really the first time it was highly publicized, a high school coach having success and taking over a big time program.
So I don't think we've ever seen a high school coach go directly to that size of a program ever, maybe never see it again. They go and they work their way up and eventually can become Gus Malzahn coaching Auburn or Hugh Freeze coaching Ole Miss and Auburn or a high school coach. But high school straight to a program like Notre Dame is unheard of.
So they had gone from Ara Parsegian, who was very successful, right, to Dan Devine. Was he pretty successful? Do you remember?
I think he won a national championship.
Oh, did he? Well, that would be a yes then. He's in the College Football Hall of Fame, which...
He was the coach when Vince Vaughn threw the halfback pass to get Rudy on the field, right?
I think he won a championship in '77.
He did 11-1. They won the Cotton Bowl in 1977. So
shouldn't have. Alabama should have won that national championship.
Of course,
but
yes.
Notre Dame jumped him in the polls.
So Dan Devine. So you'd go from Parsegian to Devine. So you'd been really successful, and then they eventually go to Lou Holtz after Jerry Faust, who was very successful. So I ask you, because I don't remember this, obviously. I was very, very young. Why did they go to the high school rings? That seems like that program was clicking along. You could have gotten anybody you wanted.
You could, but Jerry Faust, because of the recruits that were coming out of Moeller High School, it was a pipeline to Notre Dame. They were thinking, if I remember the story correctly, I was in high school or middle school, they just thought, well, he's already coaching a lot of our players at Moeller High School anyway. Let him just coach him at Notre Dame.
That's a lot alike.
This guy does nothing but win. He's 90-3 over the last 8 years.
To your point, his last 5 years at Archbishop Moeller at Moeller High, he was 12-0, 12-0, 9-1, 12-0, 13-0, 4 state championships in his last 5 years.
At the highest level.
Yeah, at the highest level. And that's still a really good program today. I mean, that's one of the well-respected programs in America.
Yeah.
That guy had been dominant, so he was dominant. It's just weird that Notre Dame is the team that rolled the dice on that.
Yeah, and it ended up being, the job was too much for him. But if you look, 30, 26-1. Trent Dilford just came straight from high school to UAB.
He will not be 30-26-1.
30-26-1. He's not going to meet that mark.
No, you can let him coach another 15 years.
I remember Todd Dodge got the North Texas job.
Before North Texas was even what it is right now, right?
Yeah. Because one of the things, his kid was, a 5-star coming out, and he took him with him, but he didn't have success either.
Yeah. That's a big jump, especially at a program like Notre Dame. But you hit it. What was the name of that high school again?
Archbishop Moeller. It was Catholic.
Catholic.
Yeah. Well, I just have remembered that name growing up, and I'm like, why would Notre Dame be doing that?
Yep.
Like, I could see some school rolling the dice, but that was Notre Dame when they were at the height of their football popularity.
Yep. That's the Sports Illustrated cover. Embattled Notre Dame coach Jerry Faust. I'm going to make it.
Hey, he made it 5 years.
Yeah. Made it to 89 years of age. A moment in college football history that I don't know if you'll ever see again. High school straight to a power job like Notre Dame. When we come back, Clay Travis on the other side. The show being brought to you in part today by great folks like Woodhouse Day Spa. We talk about the holidays getting here so quickly. Woodhouse Day Spa can be the perfect stocking stuffer.
Yeah, absolutely. You can do a couple of things. You could just stop in to the Woodhouse Day Spa, beautiful location right there at the Summit Shopping Centers. Go see Stuart and that great staff. Make sure you tell them the next round sent you. Pick up a gift card there. They've got a lot of accessories the wife or girlfriend's going to absolutely love. But very simple for the guy out there. If you are probably procrastinating, trying to figure out what a good holiday gift is, good stocking stuffer, birmingham.woodhousespas.com. She can choose from a menu of over 70 options, including massages, body treatment, skincare, waxing, nail services. Woodhouse Day Spa, voted America's best day spa since 2009. Again, order that special person gift online 24/7, birmingham.woodhousespas.com.
And our friends, DanielMooreArt.com. Daniel A. Moore, we were just talking a little college football history. Nobody puts that in perspective than a painting and a piece of artwork from Daniel A. Moore. DanielMooreArt.com to see his latest, The Legend, a tribute to Coach Nick Saban and his 6 national championships. You can get that right now on order. Plus, the 2025 calendar is available. Coupon code TNR gets you 20% off that calendar. Different pieces of artwork from Daniel Moore on each month in that 2025 calendar. Deuce is Wild. Remember the big win over Georgia earlier this year when Ryan Williams and Xavier Brown had their breakout party. the preliminary sketch there on your screen right now. All the work, see what you want for this holiday season by going online to danielmooreart.com.
Everything Next Round is on demand now in the podcast section at nextroundlive.com.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. I mean, where else are the scenic views as good as your view of the game? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Let's face it, a home is one of the most powerful assets you can have, and our friends at Mortgage Right want to help you build wealth through home ownership. Mortgage Right is all about providing competitive rates, a variety of loan products, and a multitude of resources for a seamless home buying experience. They treat their borrowers like family and are always looking to bring more happy homeowners under their roof. See more by visiting mortgageright.com/TNR today and start living. That's mortgageright.com/TNR. NMLS 2239, Equal Housing Lender.
Hey, let me tell you about our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Compassionate and comprehensive urological care with 35 physicians, 17 locations across Alabama. Their patient-centered approach to all of your urological needs. Remember, they've got that new men's health center. It is beautiful, helping men with a wide range of sensitive male issues in a comfortable environment. You can always go online, visit urologycentersalabama.com, schedule an appointment with one of their many urologists today.
This hour of The Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemphill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemphill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemphill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemphill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090. Hey, Lance Taylor from The Next Round to tell you about one of our favorite places for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That is Hamburger Heaven since 1982. Hamburger Heaven has been serving Birmingham's best hamburgers, cheeseburgers, French fries, hand-spun milkshakes, and sandwiches made fresh to order. All of their ingredients are fresh and prepared daily. This includes their beef, always fresh, never frozen, hand-pattied each and every day. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, visit any of the 4 locations, Highway 280, Irondale, Gardendale, and Homewood. Hey, for all of your IT and printing needs, reach out to our friends at Xerox Business Solutions. Look, I'm still one of those old school guys. I print my notes every single day for the show. If you watch the show here on The Next Round, you see all the notes in front of me. From day one, Xerox Business Solutions, they've been with us here at The Next Round. Local for over 45 years. For all of your IT and printing needs, visit XeroxBusinessSolutions.com or call 205-969-3000. That's 205-969-3000.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
Follow Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The social media team at Next Round Live is dedicated to giving you daily news conferences and practice video from UAB, Alabama, Auburn, and around college football. Follow and compare to the sites you used to visit. You'll also get the latest highlights and news from the Next Round Daily Show. Turn on the notifications so you don't miss a thing. Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. See more at nextroundlive.com.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, The Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
Clay Travis standing by for his weekly visit. This part of the show being brought to you by Storm Restoration Roofing. Greg from Pell City, he and his wife Andrea owns Storm Restoration Roofing, one of the great locally owned American companies. You can look him up on Facebook, Greg from Pell City, or call this number, 205-542-3531. Storm damage, roof replacement, insurance, roofing claims, restoration, inspections. But the best thing Greg does is a free quote, free evaluation. He'll get on your roof right now for free, no obligation, and check it out to see if anything's wrong up there. 205-542-3531. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing.
All right, Clay Travis, the founder of Outkick. You also see him on Fox. He's with us now on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. What is up, Clay? How are you?
I'm doing great. How are y'all?
Doing fantastic. Thank you very much. Your Vols getting ready to go to Athens, and I mean, I don't know how to qualify games anymore. Obviously, it's a big game, but I mean, I think with a win here, you guys are locked into Atlanta and locked into the college football playoff.
Yeah, it would be. I mean, really, it's kind of a kick in the teeth to go back to that Arkansas game, which I think Tennessee would win 9 out of 10 times. To have lost that one is tough, or else I think basically Tennessee would have already not only punched a ticket basically to the playoff, but already would be locked in almost for Atlanta because they'd only need to win one of the final two to go to Atlanta if that were the case. But look, I think we're headed for a mess in the SEC. I mean, if I had to bet, I think Georgia will beat Tennessee at home. You guys can look up the numbers maybe, and I don't remember the last time somebody beat Georgia in Athens. Certainly they have lost games on the road, but I would think they have a 30-plus game home winning streak.
Was it the South Carolina game? Was that the last time they lost?
It was 2018, I think.
Yeah,
Will Muschamp.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
Yeah, so I mean, we're talking about like basically what is that? 6 years of not losing at home. I mean, anyway, so you would have to make Georgia a favorite. They haven't lost in Athens in a long time, and if that happens, I think we're going to end up with a lot of 10-2 teams, and that's going to be a mess depending on how the rest of the college football playoff picture shakes out because it would theoretically mean, look, you could end up with 10-2 Ole Miss, 10-2 Alabama, 10-2 Georgia, 10-2 Tennessee. I mean, look, you could even make it crazier, and A&M could win out, and Texas could lose to Texas A&M, and you could have 6 10-2 teams, which is not beyond the pale, right? And so, what in the world do you do then? Because all 6 of those teams are not going to be able to make the college football playoff. And there's going to be a lot of angry feelings in a way that would not have existed in a 14 playoff. So I just think we're headed for a tough spot. And one thing I would kind of flag as something that I think is going to turn into more of a debate going forward is look at Indiana. If Indiana loses next week to Ohio State, which I think they will, then they're still likely to beat Purdue and go 11-1. But I don't think that 11-1 Indiana without a single win against a team with a winning record, which is very likely to happen if you look at their remaining schedule, I don't know that 11-1 Indiana gets in over these 10-2 SEC teams. And again, we have to wait and see. There are a lot of games that certainly the favored team could lose. I mean, just off the top of my head, LSU goes to Florida. Alabama goes to Oklahoma. Tennessee goes to Vandy. Auburn hosts Texas A&M. There are a lot of games that you could point to. In fact, I wrote about it, Sunday in my starting 11 column at Outkick. And there are a lot of things you could point to and say, hey, this is a landmine kind of situation for how all of that's going to shake out. So maybe it will take care of itself. Maybe Penn State will lose a game like Minnesota, and then you're going to go back and look at Penn State's resume and have to say, wow, they haven't beaten a single top 25 team all year. So maybe there are teams that kind of we expect to get in right now that if they lose a game that is where they're favored, you go back and it clarifies itself in some way. I do think we're somewhat helped. I think the Big 12 is likely to get only one team. I think the ACC is likely to get only one team. Maybe Notre Dame loses to SC or Army down the stretch and bumps themselves out of contention. There's still a lot of different moving parts, but I think you can start to look at it 3 weeks out from conference championship games and say, boy, we've got potentially some messes coming here.
Yeah, truthfully, Lance asked he painted this same scenario for the SEC commissioner in Dallas and was sort of dismissed by Greg Sankey. Basically, that's not going to happen.
Well, Clay was like, that's hypothetical, because I said, look, you're going to have a slew of 10-2 teams, and what are you guys going to do about it?
You were right, and I get it. I mean, if I were the conference commissioner, I wouldn't ever want to answer hypotheticals either, because you just make people angry, and the situation might not ever arise. So I bet Greg Sankey is sitting back and saying, hey, let's see if this picture can kind of clarify itself. I mean, look, the reality is Alabama shouldn't have lost to Vanderbilt. Tennessee shouldn't have lost to Arkansas. If both those teams win those games, there's a lot more clarity in the picture. Ole Miss certainly should not have lost to Kentucky, what I think is probably the worst loss of in the SEC for any of the contending teams so far. So there's a lot of different moving parts there that you can look at. And look, the reality is, Tennessee could go on the road. I could be wrong. Beat Georgia, knock Georgia out of playoff contention, basically go ahead and run the table, be 11-1. Texas A&M could do the same. And then it's pretty clean, right? You'd have 11-1 Texas against 11-1 Tennessee. You'd probably have 10-2 Bama and 10-2 Ole Miss sitting there on the outside. That would both be very likely, I think, to find their way in. And everything's hunky-dory, and no SEC fan bases are walking around with torches trying to burn down the opposing teams that get in over them.
Hey, with all that said, I mean, we're November 12th, and I cannot remember a year where not only could I tell you who the best team in the SEC was, I can most likely tell you who the second best team in the SEC was. I mean, right now, gun to head, who is the best team in the SEC?
Ole Miss. I get it. People are going to say, well, they lost to Kentucky. Yeah, they did. They lost in overtime to LSU. I get it. But the way I would look at it is, who is the most reliable offense and defense right now in the SEC? I mean, breaking it down on its most basic level, I think it's Ole Miss. People can say Texas, but you saw Georgia go on the road and absolutely obliterate Texas. Texas doesn't have a top 25 win so far. So, look, they've done well to be sitting at 8-1. I mean, that's a record that about everybody in college football would love to have. But what do you look at and say, boy, that was really a signature win? They've beaten some not very good teams pretty soundly, but they haven't beaten a good team. And I think Ole Miss on offense and defense has shown the ability to be elite on both sides. I think Tennessee, if Nico is healthy, has shown flashes, since the second half of the Alabama game, that they can be good on the offensive side of the ball. Defensively, Tennessee is, top 5-ish. Statistically, hasn't given up more than 19 to anybody all year. So defensively, they're really good. Alabama's good when Jalen Milroe can run the football. You guys haven't asked me about that game, but if I'm an LSU fan, I'm just sitting back and saying, we had 2 weeks to figure out how to keep Jalen Milroe from running the football, and we couldn't do it. And not only that, we let him run the ball for 185 yards. To me, that's like fireable offense for Brian Kelly. I mean, because in the 4 games prior, Tennessee, South Carolina, Missouri, I know Missouri's not very good, but and Vanderbilt all basically corralled Jalen Milroe and made him beat them with the arm. And then LSU just lets him run for 185 yards. I mean, if I'm an LSU fan at home at night, I'm ready to feed Brian Kelly to the alligators there because I just thought that was an awful performance. But look, if Jalen Milroe can run the football, Alabama can certainly beat anybody. I don't know that he can consistently drop back and beat people throwing the ball, because I don't know outside of Ryan Williams that Alabama has really elite downfield passing talent. I certainly don't think that Alabama at running back historically has elite level running back talent. And so the one thing you have to do is not let Jalen Milroe beat you with his legs, and LSU let Jalen Milroe beat him with their legs. So my point on all that is, I think you can look at every team in the SEC and say, boy, they've been good for a half. Maybe occasionally they've been good for a game, but there's a lot of halves and a lot of games where they haven't been good. But I think on the offensive and defensive sides of the ball right now, I'd say Ole Miss. Now, if Tennessee went into Georgia and pulled off the upset of Georgia, I think you'd have to say Tennessee. So we'll see. And look, if Georgia comes out and beats Tennessee 38-3, I think you might say, boy, Georgia's had a brutal schedule, but when they've played at their highest level, against Texas, that's the best first half that anybody's put together all season.
I want to ask you, first of all, congratulations on your presidential win. As an American, I hope President Trump does everything you believe he can do the next 4 years, and we're in a better place in 4 years. Back to sports. When this 12-team playoff came about, did you ever think a Kirby Smart coached Georgia team would ever miss this thing? And they will miss it if Tennessee beats them this weekend. Did you ever think with his recruiting that he would not be part of a 12-team playoff?
Well, I know Carson Beck. Well, first of all, thank you, and I'm glad that Alabama won Dunaway, because I was thinking with Trump winning and Alabama losing to drop out of playoff contention, I didn't know if you'd be into the work on Monday. So,
I come to work. I'm glad. The person I vote for, Josh Pate, did not win any states. I kept waiting for them to turn it to Pate State. It did not happen.
So, look, I think a lot of attention is on Carson Beck, who has thrown 12 interceptions, and he has not been good, and he's looked uncomfortable in the pocket. Guys, they couldn't block Ole Miss's defensive line. I know that there's a lot of things about, hey, what is going wrong with Georgia? I think they're still really good on the defensive side of the ball. But that offensive line, they have swung and missed on some guys, and it felt like at times that was they were matadors almost, like just kind of waving the Bulls pass to go kind of wreak havoc on Carson Beck. And watching that and knowing that the strength of Tennessee's defense is the defensive line so far this season, I was thinking to myself, I think it's going to be an ugly, low-scoring game in Athens. Again, Nico has not necessarily been performing well. He's coming off. He took a hit. They pulled him out and kind of kept him safe. But I really think this Georgia offensive line is a real weakness. They're not great at running the football. They're not great at protecting Carson Beck. That's made him press and try to make more plays downfield than maybe he's capable of given their downfield talent at wide receiver. They missed Brock Bowers, I think, enormously. I know he was injured quite a bit last year. But looking at that performance, the one team that you've got right now, Josh Heupel, 28-7 in his last 35 at Tennessee. That's pretty good. 3 of those losses are basically Georgia. So he has not beaten Georgia since he got to Knoxville. I think this is a big game. It's almost a little bit of a redo of 2 years ago when Tennessee, I believe, was 8-0 and went to Athens and Georgia beat them, and then Tennessee had the awful, conclusion to the season where you had the injury with Hendon Hooker and the loss at South Carolina. But it's almost like a history repeating itself. Can this Tennessee team go and get the win at Georgia and, sort of stamp itself for the playoffs or not? Or are we going to get into that 10-2 mess?
Clay Travis with us from Outkick, founder of Outkick and Fox. He's on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. Do you think most of America is pulling, like if you had to guess what the breakout of American football fans, college football fans, pulling for Colorado to win the Big 12 or not win the Big 12?
I think the story's better if Colorado wins the Big 12.
See, I agree.
But I don't know if the majority of fans – I think most fans would rather see Deion in the playoff than not, because whatever you think about Deion, even the people who are rooting against him care more about Colorado and Deion being in the playoff than either to win or to lose. That's just the rooting interest than they would BYU. So I think it's better. Look, that's a great rivalry game, and I don't know how much attention you guys paid to the way that game ended.
Oh, yeah.
Geez, to call a holding penalty on a defensive back away from the ball.
Yeah, did you see that head ref came over from the Pac-12?
Yeah,
I don't know how that factors in. I don't know that like they hate Utah, right? I mean, Utah couldn't help but leave the Pac-12.
Yeah.
Yeah, look, that was for rivalries. I know Alabama-Auburn is one of the best rivalries in America. If you have never been to Utah, the BYU-Utah thing, they add in legitimate religion to that rivalry. It is nasty. If you love college football, it's a great rivalry. So I'm not trying to take away anything from BYU, but I think by and large, most people see BYU as a blank space. That is, there is no strong associational value with BYU in any way. And in general, if you told me, hey, who do you want in the playoff? It's people and teams that are strongly emotionally connected to fan bases. And I think Deion is that. So I think if he makes the Big 12 title game, it's great. I think if he makes the playoff, and that's also great. I do think, and again, this comes back to the way the playoff is set up. The one thing about that would be the idea that Colorado gets a bye is crazy, because Colorado against presumably the 5 seed would probably be a 2-touchdown underdog, because you're talking about the best non-champ Big Ten or SEC team probably slotted in that 5 spot. And that's where you could make an argument, guys, and I think we may have talked about it on your program, that being 5, because you're probably going to get the Boise State or the non-power conference team at home. You're going to be a couple of touchdown favorite there. And then you're going to get the weakest of the Power 4, where you're probably going to be a couple of touchdown favorite. There's an argument that 5 is underrated, almost the best draw in the entire college football playoff, particularly if you get to dodge having to play the conference championship game, which would mean, your team gets that extra week of rest no matter what.
Yeah, Notre Dame is laughing right now. Everybody was like, oh, they can't be a high seed. And they're like, okay, we'll take that 5 seed, because you're absolutely right in what you say. Like, if Notre Dame today got to host Boise and then whatever bowl it is in, play Colorado, they'd sign right up for that today. Notre Dame would sign up for that, not think twice.
You're in the Final Four, right?
That's right.
So, to me, that seeding is going to be a big topic. And I don't think personally that the top 4 automatic buys should go to teams that, you could have a situation, to use LT's hypothetical earlier, we're talking about 10-2s, but you could have a situation where 2 12-0 teams meet in the Big Ten or the SEC championship, and you would say, okay, those are definitely 2 of the 4 best teams. The team that loses has to play an extra game. They drop out of the top 4. Like, what sense does that make to not put the 4 best teams in as the bye?
Yeah. Basically, 2009 SEC championship game, Alabama-Florida, where everybody in the country knew that was the 2 best teams in the country.
Mm-hmm.
Florida would have been the 5 seed in the tournament.
Yeah, now, again, you fall to 5, and we were just talking about how you can have a beneficial run based on being 5, but I just don't know why you wouldn't reward the 4 best teams with the 4 buys, regardless of whether they win conference champ. Again, I've been arguing this for a while. I know they make too much money off of them, but I would prefer that we just did away with conference championship games and just went straight to 16.
Yeah.
And then, look, if you have 4 teams that all tie at 6-2 or 7-1 or whatever the heck it is, co-champs is a fine result to me in this era.
All right, he's Clay Travis, founder of Outkick, and at Fox as well, at Clay Travis on social media. Thank you for the time, Clay. Have a great week.
Hey, appreciate you all. Thanks a lot.
All right, buddy, take care. Clay with us on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. You Youngs might forget we had co-conference champions for a very long time before a conference championship game, all the way up until 1991, in fact.
Yeah, in the 80s when Auburn won 4 SEC championships, I believe that was the total. I think the last one in 89 was a 4-way tie maybe in the SEC. It was at least 3 with Alabama, Auburn, and Tennessee.
Yeah, I think that was the 3. There might have been one more.
It seemed like there was 4 ways, but maybe it was just a 3-way tie.
Do you guys agree with the Indiana take? I don't. Well, I think they are protected by the Big Ten a little bit.
Let's get to the Indiana take, because I agree with you, Lance. I think the Big Ten protects like the SEC would a team that was 4th or 3rd or 2nd in their league standings. We'll get into that after LT tells us about our buddy Dr. B.
Dr. B, the absolute man. If you're starting to thin out like I was a couple of years ago, I asked around. Dr. Beckenstein is the name everyone mentioned. Make the phone call that I made. Schedule a consultation today, 205-319-0316. Brown is doing the exact same thing I'm doing. The non-invasive treatment 3 times a week, 30 minutes each time on the couch. That is it. For more information, T3hair.net. Dr. B pioneered the use of NeoGraft hair restoration in Alabama, remains at the forefront of hair preservation in the Southeast. He takes pride in treating each patient personally, applying his expertise to produce those quality results. Again, schedule the consultation. Tell them the next round sent you, 205-319-0316 or T3hair.net.
See, I totally, and not that it's valid, but I totally disagree with Clay on Indiana. I don't think they would be one of the 12 best teams if they lost to Ohio State. But they're going to be a Big Ten one-loss team, and they'll 100% be in the playoffs.
Well, look, and that wasn't an embarrassing win. You say what you want about Michigan. They're yet to get bowl eligible. I get that. But you can go through the history of college football. In 9 out of 10 seasons, the team that wins a national championship has a scare. And this was a scare against a team that was 15-0, that is still a proud program that won a national championship and still has a really good defense. Outside of that, they have beaten the hell out of everyone. So I think there is something to that, too. When people talk about game control, just because of their domination, I think, that will resonate with the committee.
Well, let's put Oregon in as the Big Ten champion and Texas in as the SEC champion, just for placeholders. And you got ACC and Big 12 champion in. And let's say Notre Dame beats Southern Cal. So I'll just put them in the 5 spot, whether they're there or not. And then Boise's the 12 spot. So that leaves us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 spots. All right. So I've still got Ohio State, right? So that's a guarantee.
Yep.
Because they're going to, in this scenario, they would have played and lost to Oregon, but they're still in over Indiana.
Okay. Your SEC championship game loser is in.
All right. So let's just make that Alabama, because that's who would, in a tie of all these 2-loss teams, Alabama would have the edge right now. All right, so they're in. All right.
At that point, 3-loss Alabama.
3-loss Alabama. Yeah, I mean, this is the test of.
I am saying Ole Miss wins out, and based on that win this weekend, they are in.
All right, there's Ole Miss. Anybody else you guys want to guarantee is in?
So we have Oregon, Ohio State.
Georgia's going to win out with 2 losses. They're going to get in.
All right.
Penn State's 100% in.
Penn State is?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's nobody's going to beat them.
All right. Who else?
I think that might be it.
Who do you have?
Well, I've got one more spot left.
How many do you have right now?
Indiana.
I've got Notre Dame, Ohio State, Alabama, Ole Miss, Georgia, Penn State, Boise, Oregon, and Texas. So you have left out Tennessee.
Yeah, Tennessee will be in. Okay. They'll lose to Georgia. They'll beat Vandy and whoever else they have.
Wait, so this will be loss number 2.
Yeah, they've beaten Alabama.
Yeah, you got to put Alabama in with 3 losses. Got to put Tennessee in with 2.
I mean, you see the math issue now, right? I mean, we're out of spots. I am out of spots now. We haven't put Indiana in yet. And you've just put in teams you think, God, that team deserves to be in.
Indiana will get over one of those teams.
Indiana will get in.
Yeah.
Over Tennessee, over Penn State?
Yeah.
No, I don't think they're in over Penn State.
No, not over Penn State. But
over Georgia?
They'll get in over an SEC team at that point.
Tennessee, Georgia, Ole Miss, Alabama.
Yeah, you don't have Texas or Texas A&M?
No, Texas is in as the SEC champion.
Ole Miss has got the weak-ass schedule.
Texas schedule's worse than Ole Miss. Now they'd be the SEC champion in this scenario.
Yeah, no, they need some upsets.
They need some upsets, and the one that would really help the most would be USC beating Notre Dame. Yeah. Notre Dame did the committee a favor.
Or Virginia this week.
Upset alert.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Yeah, next segment. By the way, close the door. If anybody takes Virginia, they pull the upset at 22.5.
It will be over, yes. I'll go ahead and give you the crown. But you see what I'm saying? Like, if Notre Dame is out, now I've got a whole other spot I can play with, which helps me with Indiana, and I can leave in these SEC teams.
Yeah, look, in Tennessee, their offense is so stagnant. I wouldn't be shocked. Not only did they lose to Georgia, if Vanderbilt beat them.
Yeah. It's not, because what the issue would be that 3-loss Alabama team. And it doesn't have to be Alabama. You can make it any SEC team you want that's got 2 losses. You can make it Tennessee. You can make it Ole Miss. You can make it anybody. If they take that 3rd loss in Atlanta, it becomes super complicated.
Back to co-champions in the SEC. Back when we only played 7 games, can you imagine the ties you'd have with 7 games? The last time we had co-champions was 1989. It was Alabama, Auburn, and Tennessee, all 6-1. Before that, you have to go all the way back to 1981. Alabama and Georgia were both 6-0. You only played 6 conference games. And both were 6-0. They didn't play each other. And that was co-champions in 1981. Before that, you got to go to 76 when it was Georgia, and you cannot name the other team, I guarantee you.
76 co-champions, Georgia and
Kentucky.
Both teams were 5-1. It was Kentucky.
Yeah.
Way to go, LT.
Very nice.
So co-champions did not happen a lot. Before that, you got to go back to 66 when it was Alabama and Georgia again, both 6-0. And that was when they playing 6 games. So co-champions is not that bad of a thing if we ever get rid of the conference championship games. And 8, it will happen less than it did back with 7 and 6, I think. Of course, you probably eliminate some of your teams from the playoffs and eliminate all these ties if we ever go to 9 conference games.
Well, if you open it up to 16 and just eliminated the conference games, I think you could I guess you could generate enough money that the schools would be interested in it. Like, you've got to generate whatever the schools get out of the SEC championship game and the Big Ten championship game primarily, whatever that dollar value is, to Fox or NBC or CBS or ESPN.
Do you think you get as much going to a college football playoff?
I think that's the only way they can structure it, is to go to the SEC and the Big Ten and say, we know you're getting, I don't know, Jim, $40 million. We know that you value that game in your TV package at $40 million. We're going to add a round of playoffs, and we're going to guarantee you that $40 million. Do you think the conferences would sign up for that? They're going to get more teams in.
Yeah, they're going to get more teams in.
So I think they sign up for that, don't they? Like, you don't even have to run the event anymore, and you get the $40 million.
Yeah, because that game is going to be bigger than the Big 12 and the ACC championship games most years anyway.
See, I think the Big 12 and the ACC would sign right up because they're going to get more teams.
Yeah.
That opens the door for them to get two a lot of times. So I think they would be like, yeah, you tell us where to sign. I think you got to convince the Big 12, the Big 10, and the SEC, because they're going to get a bunch of teams and still get to play the game that they make money on. So you got to tell them, we'll make that money up if you'll just not play the game. And I'm sure TV could figure that one out.
Yeah.
They find the money when they need it.
I think 12 is going to be a pretty sweet spot because these games are meaningful down the stretch, and we're talking about really good team could be left out. Which creates the controversy you always want in college football, to make people bitch and moan all off season to keep the ratings good on shows like ours. Show brought to you by our friends at Inverness Country Club. Getting ready for a new year at Inverness Country Club 2025. They got a lot of great things planned out there.
Yeah, make sure you make that phone call today to Aaron and the fine folks out there to schedule a tour of the unbelievable club. 205-991-8608. They've got memberships at Inverness that fit everyone, from the social membership, including that resort-style pool complex, full-service cabana and bar, live music on Friday night, Sunday brunch, never too early to think about this coming summer. Also, the golf membership, beautiful course, the driving range recently expanded. Childcare, also a big plus. Maybe you work from home. What about working from the club while they watch your kid? Whatever your interests are, you can find it at Inverness. Best days happen there. Again, to take a tour of the club, call Aaron 205-991-8608 or online, iccalabama.com.
And our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama, stay on top of your health. 35 urologists, 16 locations, treating all your urological needs, from prostate health to kidney stones and everything in between. Maybe the vasectomy there, if it's that time in your life there. They can handle it all. Those great locations. Find one near you. Schedule the appointment. Call that number, 205-930-0920, 930-0920, or visit urologycentersalabama.com to schedule that appointment.
Follow Scott Forrester on Twitter at Scott Forrester TV.
A legendary coach once said, "It's not the will to win that matters. It is the will to prepare to win." Hi, I'm Bobby Humphrey, Vice President of Business Development for Bryant Bank, and I can tell you that our Bryant bankers have the dedication and experience to put together a financial game plan that is right for you. At Bryant Bank, we specialize in community banking and offer personal and business loans, checking and savings account, mobile banking, and treasury management services. Stop by one of our 18 offices across the state of Alabama to find out what unbeatable service and legendary results are all about.
Our friends at Milo's Hamburger invites you to join them in the fight against hunger in our local communities by bringing non-perishable food items to your local Milo's, including canned goods. When you donate a canned good or any non-perishable food item, Milo's will give you a free drink. Together, we can make a difference.
By now, you guys know how I feel about my fashion. However, did you know that I care about your fashion choices? Cargo shorts are out, flip-flops are only appropriate on the boat, and please throw away that stained t-shirt from college. You may be thinking, EG, that's all I own. What do I do? Here's what you do. Go to nextround.store and fill your cart with a wardrobe that is approved by me. Stock up on logo t-shirts, hoodies for football season, and hats for every day of the week. Trust me on this one, and head over to nextround.store to get stocked up for this season.
Hey, for all of your IT and printing needs, reach out to our friends at Xerox Business Solutions. Look, I'm still one of those old school guys. I print my notes every single day for the show. If you watch the show here on The Next Round, you see all the notes in front of me. From day one, Xerox Business Solutions, they've been with us here at The Next Round. Local for over 45 years. For all of your IT and printing needs, visit XeroxBusinessSolutions.com or call 205-969-3000. That's 205-969-3000.
Just because you've quit going to the gym, it doesn't mean that you have to quit gym altogether. Dunaway, that is. With our Next Round podcasts open 24/7, 365, you can access Jim anytime you'd like. While you may have done away with your treadmill routine, our version of Dunaway is standing by ready to get you back to your absolute best. Find all that lovely Jimmy D-led content on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and in the podcast section of nextroundlive.com. This message is sponsored by Jimmy Crypto Inc. and Jimmy Crypto for President.
From the creators of The Next Round comes two new sites, covercrimson.com and thebarnauburn.com. Two team sites with the same excitement and information-driven content that you get every day on The Next Round. Live daily shows, recorded shows, free of charge, plus premium content with insider information starting at just $1. And it's the perfect gift for the Alabama or Auburn fan in your family. Covercrimson.com or thebarnauburn.com. Sign up today.
Hey, Lance Taylor from The Next Round to tell you about one of our favorite places for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That is Hamburger Heaven since 1982. Hamburger Heaven has been serving Birmingham's best hamburgers, cheeseburgers, French fries, hand-spun milkshakes, and sandwiches made fresh to order. All of their ingredients are fresh and prepared daily. This includes their beef, always fresh, never frozen, hand-pattied each and every day. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, visit any of the 4 locations, Highway 280, Irondale, Gardendale, and Homewood.
Here at The Next Round, we love our guests, especially our 2024 football regulars. Auburn and Alabama fans, we've got your guys. On Mondays at 9:25, we'll be joined by Alabama offensive lineman Tyler Booker, and Tuesdays at 9:25, we chat with Auburn quarterback Peyton Thorne. Join us and rep your team.
Hey, let me tell you about our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Compassionate and comprehensive urological care with 35 physicians, 17 locations across Alabama. Their patient-centered approach to all of your urological needs. Remember, they've got that new men's health center. It is beautiful, helping men with a wide range of sensitive male issues in a comfortable environment. You can always go online, visit urologycentersalabama.com, schedule an appointment with one of their many urologists today.
Back with you on The Next Round as we get ready to do our upset alert coming up in this segment. Another thing going on in college football. Let's go back in time. This is our Milo's Burger flashback. Kirby Smart, after the Georgia win in Austin, cooked up this soundbite for us.
Now we've set a precedent that if you throw a bunch of stuff on the field and endanger athletes, that you got a chance to get your call reversed. And that's unfortunate.
It didn't work out for LSU, but they did get the fine. $250,000 LSU, not for rushing the field, but for throwing items into the end zone. There's some video there of the several times during the game, bottles and things being thrown into the end zone from the student section and that end of the stadium down there. So $250,000. Does that one also go to Alabama?
See, I was going to ask you if you knew. I don't know. The field rushing obviously goes to Georgia from Ole Miss.
Yeah.
That's the way that works. And Alabama got from Vandy? Yeah, Alabama got paid from Vandy. So that's the way all that goes down.
I mean, and this is more of a safety issue, right? Other team being in the crossfire. And if that's the case, I mean, when you're throwing vapes and batteries and beer bottles.
I should get it.
We're about to, by the way, get our first legal case, I believe. This past weekend at Utah, the BYU cheer coach, Jocelyn Allen, caught a full water bottle thrown from the stands in the front of her face, and it knocked her unconscious. I knew I'd mess it up, knocked her out.
I mean, this bottle of Dasani right here, that's pretty heavy. Like this, I've taken one drink out of this thing.
That
right?
gets you on the bridge of the nose. Think about it with fully closed, and it gets you with the cap.
Yeah, coming from a distance, coming from height like that.
And here's a slow-mo. Boom.
Oh!
Yeah, and it hits her right in the face.
Boy, she drops like a sack of
And
potatoes.
she drops all the way to the ground, and one of the coaches noticed it hitting her and went over. Now, they're checking videos, and authorities are working here. It came, they believe, from a seated boxed area where seats were, and they are going to reviewing tape, and lawsuits and or criminal charges could be coming. And that would slow things down a little bit, too. We've had, it's not just in the SECs. You see there, Utah, BYU. We've had it at Clemson. We've had it at Michigan this year of stuff being thrown onto the field. And it'll happen again. It'll happen again. It's happened in Tuscaloosa before. It's happened everywhere before.
But it's happened every week since Kirby said that. And I'm not saying it's Kirby's fault. Kirby rightfully was saying what he said. I'm just saying when the SEC allowed that in Austin, when they overturned that call, it incentivized throwing crap on the field.
It has happened every week.
Every single week.
It's so dumb. Like, what good can come out of it? Like, nothing but negative.
But we saw it in the World Series, too. Was it the World Series?
Braves, well, it was a playoff game. Braves and Cardinals, right, in that infield fly rule.
Yeah, but we saw it this year. Somebody did it somewhere.
Yeah.
Was it
Dodgers?
Dodgers, Padres.
Dodgers, Padres.
Yeah.
I mean, it just,
Boy, Herb Street unloaded on the LSU fans.
But here's what happens next. The SEC has this authority. LSU now has to review, it's videotape. They have to prove to the SEC that they've reviewed all video sources to ban anybody they caught throwing it out there, and their cameras, in the stadium. And they've got to update their protocol to help prevent this. And the next phase of penalties, not just another financial fine, the SEC has the right to next level up to suspend alcohol sales and take away that cash flow for the university. Suspend alcohol sales inside Tiger Stadium.
So their big punishment is alcohol sales.
Yeah, that's the second level. You get the financial fine once, and then you're banned from alcohol sales the second time.
Yeah, and the unfortunate thing there, that's just a pop really to the university, because how many college students are actually buying alcohol in the stadium? Most are still taking it in there, and it's obviously a shot to the fans that are probably the ones not doing it.
I know that they are taking some in, but you'd be surprised the number of Trulies and Bud Lights and things like that you see in their hands as students.
Oh, yeah, no, I do see that, but I think it's more like one or two, and you're still sneaking some different things in.
Yeah.
I mean, most students can't afford, $18 beers.
James has got a great point here, and not only you got the $250,000 fine, now you got that's on top of the cost for the rent-a-Tiger. I mean, this game cost LSU a ton.
Did that number ever come out, what it cost to rent a Tiger?
I haven't seen it. Booker yesterday said, I feel sorry for the Tiger. He just wasted his time.
Yeah, that was Booker yesterday.
So funny.
I feel sorry for the Tiger.
I feel sorry for the Tiger. Just wasted his time.
It's true.
And there was also a fine for rushing the field, and it was more than normal because it was a second penalty for Ole Miss for rushing the field since the SEC's been doing this, but it was $350,000, not $250,000. They also got fined an extra $100,000 for rushing prematurely.
So they got a double fine.
Yeah, they got a $100,000 fine for rushing while the game was still in progress. And then $350,000 is the total now, $250 for their second field rush, their second offense.
So they just doubled down in one game.
$350,000, and that goes to
Georgia.
To Georgia.
That's right.
So at that point, you're basically just paying the NIL for your opponent.
Yep, that's exactly what you're doing.
Yeah,
So
that ain't going to slow it down, by the way. There's not one single drunk Ole Miss student that's like, should we rush the field and give Georgia NIL money? They are not thinking about that now. The school will think about it because Keith Carter, the AD's got to stroke that check to Georgia.
Yep.
That hurts. I mean, $350
I
grand.
remember back in the day when students would rush the field, there were people that were getting tackled. I guess liability, you can't rough anybody up anymore.
I don't. Yeah,
or player safety, I'd be all for it. Let's tase and
I think tasing's the way to do it. Really,
weren't they handcuffed around the goalpost in Legion Field for that Bama Tennessee game?
Yeah, that was Tennessee fans rushing.
Correct. Yes,
but if you were told
that doesn't go well, by the way.
No,
that would deter some fans. Hey, look, if you hit the field, you can legally be tased.
I mean, Auburn turned the sprinklers on Georgia fans.
EG would tell you that the other night, all the security from around the stadium had come to in front of the small Alabama section at that end of the field, because there had been one security guard had told another that they're talking about rushing the field, the Alabama fans. And I of course, I said, Alabama fans don't rush the field.
If you think this is a big win in Alabama history.
Please. They're going to rush the field. But they brought a bunch of security, EG can tell you, down to that end of the field because they had started talking to their headset to prevent Alabama from running onto the field, Alabama fans.
Well, they didn't really have to secure the rest of the stadium.
Yeah, there was nobody left.
Yes, there was no threat elsewhere.
You guys in Section 22, come on over. There's nobody left there. All right, before we get to JD and Huntsville, Milo's bringing you that fine update there. A fine meal available for you today at Milo's.
Yeah, something better than a Milo's burger. How about 24 free Milo's burgers? Milo's giving away a catered meal for up to 24 guests. That's right, 24 of your closest friends, coworkers, or family could be chowing down on Milo's favorites. And the best part, it is free. For your chance to win, head to miloshamburgers.com/catering-contest. Enter today. That is miloshamburgers.com/catering-contest. So whether you're feeding a few or a whole crew, Milo's has got you covered. Don't wait. Enter now. Maybe they'll be serving you and 23 of your lucky friends soon. Stay saucy.
Yeah, I believe Greg Byrne will have to pay a fine for things being thrown from the student section onto the field before he has to pay one for rushing the field. Do you believe that to be true?
Yeah, but it's funny. I think it was Alabama, Tennessee, and it was the Jamie Christensen kick. Was that 05, I think it was, Shula year? There was celebratory. They were throwing things onto the field. Like Christensen had made the kick and water bottles started flying and stuff.
But I would imagine.
I mean, that's going to be the fine the same way. I'm just saying it doesn't just happen when you're pissed at the officials.
JD from Huntsville is with us on the phones. JD, how you doing, buddy?
Doing great. Can you imagine if we had all this discussion back in olden days when the Big Eight was throwing oranges, in Nebraska-Oklahoma games for going to the Orange Bowl?
That used to be really cool when I was a kid. They're throwing oranges because this is going to send Oklahoma to the Orange Bowl. Yeah, that was cool.
Boy, orange hits you on the fly, it ain't going to feel good.
It is not.
Larry Munson, look at the sugar falling from the sky and all that stuff, but we're in a different day now. We got golf balls, we got water bottles, we got all kinds of nonsense being thrown. I say this, rushing the field, you should lose a home game. You absolutely should, and either lose one for that season, or you got to play that team the next 2 years on the road.
Well, okay, so here's my problem with that, and people have thrown that idea out. So to use Ole Miss, so now here's part of the problem: is Ole Miss and Georgia don't play every year. So that game is in Athens next year. I don't know when it's supposed to be back in Oxford. You see what I'm saying? So that's going to be.
Yeah, you would probably just have to go with they would lose one for that season. Or how about this? The next game you got COVID seating chart.
Oh wow!
You don't have a full house.
But here's my actual real problem with it though, JD, is who that is. It's punishing a lot of people, but it's also punishing the local businesses that their livelihood depends on 7 home games. And I don't want to do that to the local businesses. Why are we going to do that? Because some idiots make bad choices. I mean, do you think there's businesses in Oxford, Mississippi, and Tuscaloosa and Auburn that if they lost a home game, they would feel it big time?
Oh, yeah. Let me ask you, did Tennessee get fined for their polite rush of the field at Neyland Stadium?
If you go on the field, you get fined. Doesn't matter how polite
I don't
it
remember
is.
that being announced after the Tennessee rush of Alabama this year.
I think
because they let Alabama get off the field before the students came out.
I think if you go on the field, you get fined. Because if Andy got fined, remember they were coming down the stairs. It was an orderly field rush if Andy and they got fined.
I would say either that, or you got to go to every stadium's got to build like they do in hockey with the glass restrictions, so you absolutely just can't get on the field. I mean, that's the only way to stop it.
In bars in the 70s, they just put up chicken wire back in the day.
Yeah, that's right.
They just put up chicken wire. Yeah.
I mean, somebody not football players so much because they can take care of themselves, but a lot of these basketball players, especially like women's basketball, somebody is absolutely going to get hurt, and you're going to. Man, the school's going to get sued. It's going to be a terrible situation. So, yeah, got to do something. Don't know what, but I'd like to hear that they're going to do something besides, we're going to fine them because, man, these guys got money. I tell you what, if it came out of the president's salary, I guarantee he'd do something.
Thank you, JD.
Yeah, $250,000 was the Tennessee fine, and it does come Tennessee to Alabama.
You were standing not the most recent time they rushed Phil, but the previous loss in Knoxville 3 years ago.
I was there for this one too.
Well, I know you were there, but specifically that one. If they didn't they're like, why does the security not just keep them in the stands? Those poor kids on the front would have gotten crushed to death.
They would have. I actually listened in this year, and to no fault to them, they can only do so much. But they told them, don't try to restrain them from coming onto the field.
Yeah, somebody's going to get killed because there's this press, and those are brick walls, right? So you've got the front couple rows getting pressed into a brick wall. If you try to keep them off the field, there's going to be injuries that way.
I mean, you get it. I don't know the last time it's happened like at a major soccer game. We've had it at concerts before in the States, worldwide.
Yeah, but I watched them hand out to the extra security people, do not try to hold them into the stands. Just try to keep them away from the goalposts, and then try to help get the visiting team and personnel off the field.
I mean,
is what they were told
it's harder to do in football, but in basketball, they do the ropes where the visiting team can get to the locker room.
South Carolina did that when they rushed against A&M, I believe. They had the ropes to try to get the visiting team.
But boy, it's hard in football. A lot of players out there.
Yeah, a lot of people running to the rope, hurting themselves
Yes.
too. All right, upset alert coming up in just a second. We got a big event coming up at the Comedy Club we want to tell you about. And I'm specifically putting this right here in front of the very popular Upset Alert segment here so that you've got an opportunity to hear about our buddy who's coming to town. And really, it's supporting us if you go out and see this event coming up at the Comedy Club because we love Big Earl this much, and this is one of his last few times to be on the road.
Yeah, look, I mean, this is very unique. So Bruce Ayers, who owns Comedy Club Stardome, has got a relationship with Big Earl and invited him last year for the first time, just a one-set situation to come and actually perform at the Stardome, which is a beautiful venue, and it went great. And so they've invited him for a one-off show again this year, and it's going to be this Thursday night. For decades, Big Earl and his band, the Sexual Biscuits, have been playing at the Floribama. They've brought a unique sound and commentary to the world-famous Honky Tonk on the beach, and now they are headed to the Stardome this Thursday for one night only. You see Big Earl getting the crowd all lathered up there at the Floribama. Call 205-444-0008. That's 205-444-0008. You can go to stardome.com for tickets. Tickets are limited. Great Thursday night event. If you're looking for comedy, you like the music, you like very off-color humor, very politically incorrect, you're going to love Big Earl.
Yeah, a lot of Southern rock in there, 80s and 90s country. It's not just him doing original songs. He does songs but there's a lot of humor in between, and then he'll do some humorous songs as well.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you, he's very pro-Trump.
I would say, but he makes fun of everybody.
Oh, he does. I mean, there's nobody that is safe.
There's nobody that is safe.
Will he bring the will?
He will bring the titty wheel, yes.
Yeah.
So somebody, which will be interesting to see, down at the beach when somebody's had 11 bushwhackers out on the beach and they wear their bikini top and their cutoffs into the Floribama Dome. That seems kind of normal. Maybe one of those girls getting up on stage, but it's going to be interesting on a Thursday night.
Yeah, they gladly participate at the Bama.
So there you go, 444-0008 or stardome.com. Go see Big Earl. I promise you will not be disappointed.
Did Grayson ask if you're singing?
No, I'm not going.
You're not going? Okay.
I've seen him a lot. I would like to go, but we have something else that's popped up on Thursday night, and I forgot what it is. We do have something on Thursday night.
All of us do?
No.
Oh,
I've got a dinner on Thursday night.
I've
got a dinner on Thursday night.
Okay. All right, it is time for our Upset Alert. It is brought to you by McCurry. We'll look at the standings again, and Brown will tell us about McCurry right after Tyler hits the big button.
The College Football Spotlight.
Sound the alarm. College football's Upset Alert.
McCurry, Vanning, was that the alarm?
Either that or a dog got hit.
McCurry Van and Car Rental brings you the Upset Alert and the Spotlight every single day. Those tough-to-find vehicles to rent, you can rent them from McCurry. Car, van, truck, passenger van, SUVs, easy to rent, in and out fast. Athens, Muscle Shoals, Huntsville, Coleman, right there on 2nd Avenue Northwest, and Skyland Boulevard in Tuscaloosa is where you find McCurry. Reserve your rental today, 256-559-1003 or McCurryRentals.com. That's 256-559-1003 or McCurryRentals.com.
Yeah, maybe we should show the rules again, Forrester, before we show the standings.
Wow.
I mean, not because Forrester sometimes doesn't follow the rules. I mean, just before he puts his graphic up there, just to remind everybody that you've got to at least be a 4.5-point underdog, 5 points for the cover, 5 points plus the spread for the outright win. And then I forget what the other one was, but we nixed it in the first 30 seconds when I said we'd never change the rules, which is why that's there. Standings looks like this right now, almost wire to wire for me and Forrester for a bit, but 62.5, 6-5, LT coming on 6-5, 54.5, Forrester 5-6, 45.5, and the Brown Bandit 33 points at 4-7 down there with the Upset Alert. Forrester starts us off every week. Usually with a cool. My wife got a kick out of the story about Oski last week.
Oh yeah, I forgot about Oski.
Yeah.
She like Oski?
I can't remember what the story was now, but she did like Oski.
He's kind of creepy.
Yeah, he was weird.
It's a weird cheer. Oski, BPI.
Yeah, that's what it was. It was a cheer.
Yeah.
I got another creepy mascot for you.
It's a theme with you now.
It is. I kind of like to go after the mascots.
You can't use the Wichita State Shockers. They're an FCS team.
No. I don't know that they field a football team.
I don't think they do.
I could be wrong on that. But we're going after Willie the Wildcat today.
Oh, the worst mascot in college football. It is the laziest mascot ever.
Or just the creepiest hookup of all time. A wildcat and a human got together.
Half woman, half cat.
Yeah.
That's what you get. I've never understood this mascot. Lance, you lived out there for a little bit. You've always been kind of an under-the-radar K-State fan. Very, very lazy here.
Because little bro coach
little
there.
bro used to coach there.
I was yeah, that had nothing to do with it. I will say that
very lazy.
You could get you don't have to rent. You could adopt or rescue a cat, right?
Yeah, very lazy here.
Here's what happened.
And weird.
Unfortunately, we'll let you make your pick. Here's what happened. Kansas State's cheer squad, they're at the mascot outlet store, and they walk up there with the whole mascot.
Yep.
And they're like, that's going to be $1,290.
Ooh. Could I just buy the head?
How much is just the head?
Yeah.
That's going to be $400.
That's
Okay,
us.
we'll take that. You can take the rest of it
We'll
back.
come back and get the body later. Is
Yeah,
that okay?
yeah. Put that on layaway.
We'll come back and get the body. And they never did. So
they never did.
What they do is they just find a little fella and put him in a football uniform, and now you got a half wildcat, half human, and it's very, very weird, and it appears very lazy.
That definitely is a discount rack.
No doubt.
Mascot.
No doubt.
And by the way, could use another calf day, this version of
That's
him.
what I'm saying. They use a skinny little guy, too.
Yeah.
It's just kind of weird. Everything about it's weird to me.
Anyway, Willie the Wildcat and the Kansas State Wildcats, they're running up against Sparky.
Uh-oh.
Classic mascot.
Yeah. I like Sparky.
I like Sparky, too.
Yeah.
Elevator opens up at Sports Center.
Bing, there's no Sparky.
Going down?
No, thank you.
It's going to be a good weekend for Sparky. I'm feeling it. Boom!
Oh, they got him.
Down goes the Wildcat.
Wow, got him with a trident.
That would be a bad loss for Chris Glenn.
Okay, so you see what's happening now, right?
What?
Eventually, we're going to stop drawing on these.
No,
I'm just going to ask you to do 4 animations.
Yeah, but you've done it now, Scott.
Yeah.
This is on you.
2025, it's just going to be 4 animations. That's all
You're
we're
going to
gonna
get
do.
no cuts that day.
4 animations. That's
I'm all
okay.
right.
I'll give up the cuts for the animation.
That's right.
I almost want this now.
No, I don't
Better
decide. I don't decide mine until I get here, Scott. So don't expect anything out of me ahead of time.
Better than the drawing. That's fantastic, Scott.
It's very good.
That makes up for the time you picked the favorite.
Wow.
It'll live forever.
Never let it go.
Never. LT, you want to go next, or you want me to? Doesn't
I
matter.
don't care. I am taking Wisconsin.
Well done.
Against Oregon.
Bucky the Badger? Is that
yeah,
right?
Hold it up one more time on the tight shot.
Oregon has been
Well done.
so dominant lately.
Right.
Well
but
done.
I think Camp Randall will have something for Oregon. Oregon's 7-0 in year 1 of the Big Ten. They're making the Big Ten look bad.
They are. Do you think Wisconsin can win this game?
I do.
Do you really?
I do.
Outright.
Yeah.
All right, so that is nighttime. Is that Peacock or NBC? NBC. Oregon at Wisconsin, NBC 6:30.
Oh, that's good. That's good entertainment.
That helps my night slate. I mean, I got Tennessee, Georgia, and you're telling me I could get a close Oregon-Wisconsin game?
I think you could.
You know, I've only led this thing one other time, and it was in our radio days, and you guys accused me all season long of having a service.
Yeah, you remember when he was
Well,
good.
it was just weird picks.
That
He'd be
random
like,
one year.
Yeah, I've got New Mexico over Washington State.
Yeah, that random one year, you were so good.
New Mexico over Washington State.
I was looking for one of the more random games.
Yeah,
on
that was it.
That's
right
the
there.
one.
Yep.
Give me the Lobos.
Lobos.
For reasons I can't remember.
Los Lobos.
My guy said something about Washington State's been playing close games and runs out this
The
week.
John Mateer guy has been unbelievable. He's 4 touchdowns every game out.
Yeah, it's the running game of New Mexico and the defense against the run for New Mexico is how they beat Washington State, who is nationally ranked, by the way, at 21. They go down. Los Lobos, the winner.
CC.
It's the only Spanish I know.
What's up, fellas?
Hey, the Bandits here.
Guys, how we doing? Boy, that New Mexico you carved in there took you a minute there, didn't it?
Not really.
Okay.
I did that with my finger.
You know, she said, we are.
This one right here.
Okay. All right. You don't have to prove it to me. We're nearing the end of the season, and I have just now stumbled upon a really good strategy for me. One thing that has been frustrating to me is I have to make these picks on Tuesday, and then you get a lot of information from the locker room that changes everything, but I've already made my pick and locked it in on Tuesday. So what I have decided to start doing for the remainder of the season is pick only Tuesday games. Do we have Tuesday games the rest of the year?
I think we do.
That's going to be good news for me. I'm 1-0 on my Tuesday games, and I am going to finish the season 4-0 on Tuesday games. That's my promise to you.
It's my 4-0 Tuesday game promise.
That's right. You get all the basketball season free from me if I do not hit all these Tuesday games. So tonight we got a couple choices because we got some Tuesday night action. I know one thing about this team I'm about to pick, and it's all I need to know. All I need to know is one thing about this team.
Does it involve a birth certificate?
In a sense, yes.
Yes.
It does involve a birth certificate. Go further, Jim.
You don't believe that the guy who coaches this team doesn't sit next to you 3 hours a day?
That's coached by Lance Taylor. Not the Lance Taylor, but Lance Taylor. Former Alabama football player Lance Taylor. Western Michigan 5-4 in a Big Mac game against Bowling Green. Huge in the standings.
It's good horse head.
Thank you very much.
Yep.
It looks like I cut it off, put it in somebody's bed.
Thick neck.
Yep. Plus 8.5. We don't need the 8.5. The other Lance Taylor, the lesser of the two Lance Taylors, is going to be just good enough to win this thing outright. Give me Western Michigan plus 8.5, winning outright on Maction tonight.
Hey, that's 4-1 Western Michigan against 4-1 Bowling Green. This is for first place, a share of first place.
Massive MAC game, massive MAC game.
So massive they put it on ESPN2 tonight.
That's right. Well, I don't care where I'll find winners anywhere.
Yeah, King MJ205. I agree with you that next week if you pick UAB, just change that color to green and gold. I think that works a little bit as a dragon too.
Maybe so. Maybe so. It's going to be a lot of – I got to get the highlighter out for that one.
Yep.
I try to avoid those teams that require the highlighter for our yellows.
Yeah, good picks there. There you go. There's the upset alert. Play them at your own peril there. And it's Western Michigan. It's Wisconsin. It's the Los Lobos. And can we get the animation one more time from Forrester?
Boom. Oh, the Triton got him.
Oh, God, just a little blood spurting out there would have been really good.
like the TCU frog?
Yeah, really good. I like it. Love the animation. Brought to you by our friends at McCurry.
McCurry Van and Car Rental. It's the rental company getting depend on. Start at McCurryRentals.com. That's McCurryRentals.com.
And our friends right there at Gray's Tree Service. You clean up all the dead wood with Gray's Tree Service. They had 4 pines at this local residence that were dead.
Sure did.
And they went out and took care of them.
Sure did. Not something you want to get done, but something you have to get done. You don't want to damage property, whether it's your neighbor, your own property, put anybody, their health in jeopardy. You got to get these dead trees out. Family owned and operated for over 25 years right here in Birmingham. Experts in the high-risk tree removals, pruning, soil health treatment to strengthen those trees and plants. Gray's maintains a fleet of specialized cranes and lifts to get the job done right, prevent damage to your home. You've probably seen them rolling around town. Call, tell them the next round sent you, 205-281-6100. You can scan that QR code or visit graystree.com.
Take the next round anywhere you go with official Next Round gear. Buy yours today at nextround.store.
Are you tired of buying your CPAP mask and supplies online only to be disappointed? It's time to visit CPAP Plus, your locally owned and operated CPAP shop that prides itself on personal service. Come see what you're buying at CPAP Plus with 3 convenient locations in Pelham, Highway 280, and now open in Trussville. Drop by for a free CPAP checkup and free filters, no appointment needed. Plus, sign up for their giveaway for a chance to win a free travel CPAP machine. Just Google CPAP Plus or visit any of those 3 locations.
Hey, you. It's the holidays. Give cheer a lift. And at New Balance Birmingham, we got the gift. That holiday vibe? Find it inside. Come together at New Balance Birmingham on Highway 280, right next to Chick-fil-A. New Balance Birmingham, we got now.
This hour of the next round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. On game day, you never have to decide which teams to watch, only what combination of bites, burgers, wings, and more to order. Plus, where else are your favorite draft beers always poured at a frozen 29 degrees? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Stick around after the sun sets. Twin Peaks is open really late. Wind down with bourbon and late night bites. Only at Twin Peaks.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
Happy football season. At the Next Round, we strive to make our loyal listeners feel like they're a part of the action all season long. My name is Emily Grace McWhorter, and I do that by bringing you along for any given Saturday in Auburn or Tuscaloosa. From pregame warm-ups, touchdowns that make you feel a part of the play, and everything in between, our goal is to make you feel like you're inside Bryant Denny or Jordan Hare. Follow along on our social media at Next Round Live on Instagram, X, and Facebook. Also, check out thebarnauburn.com and covercrimson.com while you're at it. Here's to Fall Saturdays.
From the creators of The Next Round comes two new sites, covercrimson.com and thebarnauburn.com. Two team sites with the same excitement and information-driven content that you get every day on The Next Round. Live daily shows, recorded shows, free of charge, plus premium content with insider information starting at just $1. And it's the perfect gift for the Alabama or Auburn fan in your family. Covercrimson.com or thebarnauburn.com. Sign up today.
Follow Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The social media team at Next Round Live is dedicated to giving you daily news conferences and practice video from UAB, Alabama, Auburn, and around college football. Follow and compare to the sites you used to visit. You'll also get the latest highlights and news from the Next Round Daily Show. Turn on the notifications so you don't miss a thing. Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. See more at nextroundlive.com.
Our friends at Milo's Hamburger invites you to join them in the fight against hunger in our local communities by bringing non-perishable food items to your local Milo's, including canned goods. When you donate a canned good or any non-perishable food item, Milo's will give you a free drink. Together, we can make a difference.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, The Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
All right, rolling into another hour here on the show. LTD and B with you. Tyler and Forrester Milton behind the big glass. Guys always doing a fantastic job back there. Taylor Korn handling everything social media. EG's on campus with player interviews today over in Tuscaloosa. Had a little poker outing last night. EG, Milton told me that she was leading chip leader there for a while. I don't think Milton has his earphones in right now.
It is hard for me to believe. I got to hear from you or Milton on this.
Yeah.
EG
doesn't look like a poker player to me.
Is maybe the nicest person in the world.
Yep.
Yeah. And I feel like to be a good poker player, you got to have a little killer instinct to you.
That's right. And she told me last night, Milton, that at one point she was chip leader.
No.
She was never chip leader?
Absolutely not. No.
That sounds like something EG would say.
No, I was chip leader. I was chip leader probably for a majority of the night.
Tyler, you calling EG a liar?
She was never chip leader?
She's
Never.
known to cheat in games we play on the Meltdown.
Whoa!
She likes to bend the rules a bit and try to get ahead. A little competitive advantage.
Now, don't get me wrong. She played pretty well last night. But the problem that EG has is she starts to play well and she thinks, okay, my next hand will be as good as my last hand. And then all of a sudden she gets too invested, and the next thing you know, she's saying her goodbyes.
What happens? Does that remind you of anybody else you know?
You're either feast or famine, Dunaway. You are either finishing first or you're going to complain the whole time that Maggie's about to welcome you home at 9 o'clock.
Yeah. Now, Dunaway seems like, Milton, he would have the worst poker face of anybody that's ever played the game.
Dunaway talks way too much at the poker table, for sure. And he's always like, now, quick question here.
I do that.
Would 4 kings be good in this situation?
Ace king? Should I bet this?
Yeah. He's always looking for validation after he turns over his winning hand.
Which, by the way, in Las Vegas, they don't laugh at it when you say it like you guys do.
No.
Yeah. Sir, please don't talk.
Did they really tell you that?
The person running the table, the dealer was like, you can't talk, sir, about your hand. And I was like,
just you?
I can't talk about my hand.
Everybody else
it's my
can.
hand.
Dunaway is the only person that in an interrogation they'd say, "Please, can you please be quiet for a second? Please stop talking."
Sir, we could not take this many notes. Just for a second, can you give us your rank and serial number?
You've told us 4 times where the body was buried. We don't need to know anymore.
All right, this hour brought to you by our friends at Champy's. Champy's world famous fried chicken. Champy'sChicken.com, Highway 119 in Alabaster. Just the best food, the best guys, the best women. It's just a great place for over 10 years at Highway 119. The fried chicken's unbelievable. The sides are terrific. The Mississippi Delta recipe tamale. If you're looking for a lunch place, it's just not the blah, blah, blah. Same lunch. Go to Champy's Chicken and enjoy a great lunch. Also by our friends right there, LT, with our friends at Hemp Hill. I promise you, cool temperatures coming maybe this
tomorrow.
week.
Yeah, look, felt really good
Yeah.
leaving the house this morning. I think it was 60 degrees. But yeah, I think we're going to get into the 40s. You need to make sure the heating is ready to keep up with this changing weather. Call Hemp Hill Services. Had a buddy had them out just the other day. 205-229-2090. Hard to stop a train. Whether you experience any plumbing, heating, or cooling issues in your home or business, they are ready to serve you. For more information, hemphillservices.com.
Okay, college football playoff rankings tonight is in between basketball games. You've got, what's it called, the Champions Classic?
I don't know what they call it, but you say one blowout. I think Duke Kentucky is an entertaining game. Do you not?
Could be a blowout there too.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
Two blowouts.
If I was a gambler,
okay, let me give you point spreads. Do you know point spreads?
I don't know the point spreads.
Okay.
Brought to you by our friends at MyBookie.
Yep.
We owe you a MyBookie too.
I mean, they're both right at the same 5.5.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Oh, this is the easiest money ever, guys.
Here you go, Lance. Write this
Michigan
down.
State versus number 1 Kansas, 5:30 on ESPN. If it's only 5.5, hammer Kansas.
Okay.
And then number 6 Duke playing number 19 Kentucky after the playoff release.
Yeah, I know.
8 o'clock ESPN, hammer Duke.
I know Duke is only a 5.5 point favorite. Kansas might be as high as 7 or 7.5.
It's 5.5 right here at mybookie.ag.
Oh, my goodness. They're giving money away tonight in basketball.
Double your deposit and then double it after that is what you say, huh?
Promo code next round.
That's right.
Little Kansas Duke parlay. What could go wrong tonight?
Duke is 5.5 as well. So both those games right there at 5.5. You say 2 blowouts.
Is it March?
It is not March.
Okay,
No,
Izzo's not going to win this game.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah.
Yep.
And is Calipari still at Kentucky?
No, he is not. It
Yeah.
is Mark Pope in his letter jacket now.
Yeah, does anybody trust Mark Pope?
Not yet.
Yeah. Kansas. I mean, it looks LT. That looks so easy.
I don't know. I disagree with you.
Chat room. That looks so easy tonight.
You know now.
Kansas and Duke. Kansas and Duke tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you'll see it right on both sides of the college football playoff, and you can watch it and play it right there at mybookie.ag. Code next round when you sign on to mybookie.ag. You make your initial deposit. You use code next round. They double that deposit. You could play with it right away, as Dunaway tells you. Take Kansas minus 5.5. Take Duke minus 5.5. And not only do you get double the deposit, you can double it from there with the winnings. That's at mybookie.ag. Code next round. Code next round. When you sign on at mybookie.ag, bet anything, anytime, anywhere. Mybookie.ag, code next round.
All right. Listen, the playoff, week 2 of the playoff rankings, answer these questions for me quickly,
All
okay?
right.
Again, about 7:30 on ESPN's when they'll do this.
Between 2 blowouts.
Colorado. How close is Colorado to being in the top 12? I know they can automatically play their way in, but how close are they to being? They were 20th last week.
Yeah, I don't see how they're above 15, but I think it's around 15.
I know you said quickly, but can I just say?
No, I don't mean quickly.
Yeah, and I do
Right.
think that they are the best team currently in the Big 12, but obviously BYU undefeated is going to be in front of them. So BYU will be in the top 12. Colorado will not.
I have Colorado at 16.
I think around 15.
I was just looking at who all lost in front of them. Pitt lost in front of them. Iowa State lost in front of them. LSU lost in front of them.
Yeah, and Georgia and Miami, but they won't drop that.
Yeah, they won't drop that much. And Ole Miss is still in front of them. Ole Miss is going to climb up.
Yep.
I think they'll be probably 16.
I got them at 16. 15 says LT.
I think the big thing is, do you think, as this thing continues to unfold, there's enough of a gap between them and Boise that if they beat BYU and they're the conference champions, will they jump Boise? And
When
get
I go
that
to the
bye, or will
bathroom,
Boise
do you
get the bye?
read? Do you read? What's
I
on
do
my
not.
sheet?
I do not.
My next question is, where is BYU in relation to Boise State?
But I think the big question is, where is BYU when it matters most? Because I actually think and Lance may be on this too, I think Kansas might beat BYU. BYU is just living on the edge.
Oh,
too
yeah.
much.
Kansas is 1, 2, or 3. They started 1-5, but 4 of those losses were by 6 or left. And the way Jalen Daniels looked last week, I think Kansas is playing better currently than BYU. I can't believe BYU won that game.
I really can't either. So I think, it's interesting to see if BYU drops below Boise and then Colorado beats them for the conference championship, how much weight is that going to carry in relation to them jumping Boise?
Yeah. So what we're talking about here is the potential of the Big 12 champion not getting a bye, but the group of 5, highest ranked group of 5 champion being a bye team, a 4 seed.
But it's not just the Big 12. I mean, the ACC's in the same situation, Jim,
That's right.
because SMU is going to be, I don't know. It depends on how much they drop Miami. A lot of people think Miami will drop behind SMU, which would leave SMU potentially just on the edge being your highest rated ACC team.
You're right. There's a potential that Boise could play its way up to the 3.
Absolutely. Yeah. They could be in front of both the ACC and the Big 12 champion.
Now, there is a potential.
For those that forget, Boise's only loss on the road at Oregon in a 1-possession game.
But there is a potential, because I took a long look at it this week, that San Jose State beats Boise, plus 13.5 this weekend, San Jose.
We brought it up yesterday. I was surprised you didn't go to you're really good with the highlighter. You didn't go with the highlighter.
Thought about it.
So that opens the door for Tulane. Now, Tulane was not even in their rankings last week.
And Army. Now, Army's got to beat Notre Dame.
Well, that's true. Yeah, Army still plays
but
Notre
Army,
Dame.
Army's
25th. They're at least in the rankings, so they're telling you right now they view Army in front of Tulane.
Well, that will take care of Notre Dame.
Oh, yeah, that knocks Notre Dame out, no doubt.
How far does Georgia fall for you guys? We talked about this briefly yesterday. Now that you were on the day of the release and you had time to think about it, how deep is Georgia's fall?
I think they keep them. They might put them right at 12. They'll definitely be in the top 12.
Holy
10,
cow,
11,
that far,
12.
huh? So you definitely drop them below Texas.
Yes.
You definitely drop them below Penn State.
Yeah, I mean, although that they're better, but it's 2 losses. Yeah.
I'm just reading, the order of the rankings. You drop them below Tennessee.
Yes.
You drop them below Indiana.
Yes.
You drop them below BYU.
I don't.
Or do you drop BYU with them?
I got BYU dropping almost like they lost.
Yeah, I agree.
I think BYU can drop.
Drop them below Notre Dame?
I
think with 2 losses, you have to drop them below Alabama, don't you?
Yeah.
Alabama beat them
Alabama
head-to-head.
beat them, yeah.
Yeah, so.
And you got to drop them below Ole Miss.
Yeah, I think
you're going to have to jump Ole Miss up over them.
Yeah, I think they're 10, 11, 12.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I got them at 10 there. And then how far does Alabama and Ole Miss rise? I think we agree Alabama goes up 7 or 8, depending on whether they jump Notre Dame. And then I think the big question is, how high is Ole Miss? Are they in the 12? I say yes.
Yes.
They're in the 12. I want to do Alabama first. I think Alabama will jump Notre Dame. I think they'll jump BYU because I'm with you. I think a lot of the committee will treat BYU as if they lost.
Yeah, at least a half a loss.
Yeah. Alabama is going to jump Georgia and Miami. Both those will fall below Alabama, I think. So I think Alabama's going to go up 4 spaces. They were 11 last week. So I think they're all the way up to 7th. 7th or 8th, somewhere in there.
I got them 7 or 8 as well. That's 7:30 tonight for that. Another thing college football fans are upset about before we do trash, 4 downs coming up in the next segment. Show being brought to you by a couple of our great sponsors. Before we get to that, one of them is our friends at Odie's. Tell us about Odie's.
Yeah, coming up tomorrow night. We do it every single Wednesday night. Odie's Team Trivia, the original location in Crestline, newest location in Edgewood. Great food at both lunch or dinner from Rodney Davis, from the award-winning wings, great burgers, sandwiches, chili, ice-cold beer buckets full of the Bud Light. Get in, see Will Haver and that great staff. Again, 2 locations, the original in Crestline, newest location in Edgewood. It is Odie's Tavern.
Hey, Tyler, can you give me cut number 9? Because we discussed this a little bit yesterday, but Kirby got asked about changing quarterbacks.
I never thought he'd be asked this question this year.
That's crazy.
At one point, Carson Beck came into the season projected as the number one quarterback taken.
Oh, yeah. That is correct. All SEC, anything you want to say about Carson
Probably
Beck?
preseason All-American quarterback, I would think.
Yeah, and then, his backup is Jaden Rashada, who is a big offseason pickup in the portal. Kirby gets asked the question yesterday.
Obviously, speaking of truths, obviously passing the ball and turnovers and run game have all been issues with the offense lately. Is there an option that you have at quarterback, whether there's somebody that could be more of a running threat, or would you consider, or have y'all considered, like a change either temporarily in game?
Absolutely not. We got the quarterback we've got who's completely competent, capable, and understanding of our system, and gives us the best chance to win.
I don't
that
think
question, by the way. Just ask the question.
Yeah, let's say maybe a running quarterback like Jaden.
Do you ever consider maybe sitting Carson Beck and giving Jaden Rashada a look?
I don't think Rashada's made an appearance this year, has he? Because Gunnar Stockton is the one that has played mop-up duty for them.
I don't think he has.
Yeah, so I don't even know that it would be Rashada if they make a change. Now, that sounds like that was the question. I believe that was Chip Towers from the AJC asking that. It sounds like the question Chip Towers was asking, or have you considered going to Jaden Rashada?
Yeah, or sitting Carson Beck.
Yeah.
We talked about it yesterday, and I think we all agree it's not all Carson Beck's problem. They don't have any weapons, and they don't have their play caller anymore either that they had with Stetson Bennett. We don't talk enough about Todd Monken, who's with the Ravens now. The guy was good at calling plays.
Yeah, apparently, and you look at what he's doing right now with the Ravens. Ravens, problem is their defense. Ravens' offense is incredible right now. Do you guys now, after watching Georgia on Saturday, would you take them out of the equation of a team that can win a national championship?
I would. They don't have the offensive line to do it, Lance. They're just not good enough up front. I don't think they're good enough at receiver, at offensive line,
which hurts their running backs. Which I think they're good at running back, but they don't have the blocking they need.
Okay, so let me ask you this: if Georgia played Oregon neutral site tomorrow, do you really feel good about Oregon?
I don't, but I don't feel good about anybody beating anybody in the top 12 right now.
So that's why I would keep Georgia there. I think their defense, when they come to play, and obviously if you get to the postseason, they're going to come to play.
It's just hard to not consider Georgia a threat because of the eye test, sort of like we did with Saban and Alabama the last few years.
But don't you think their defense is average in comparison?
Compared to what they have been.
Compared to what they've been. They're a little more average.
Week in, week out. But, when they are top end, I think they
top end against
really
Texas, they're really good. Their offensive line is below average.
I don't know what is happened there.
Their pass catchers are average at best.
Yep.
And their quarterback's playing below average.
He is.
I mean, that is not a recipe to win any sort of championship.
Let's do our 4 downs today. It's brought to you by the great folks at Slice Pizza. 5 locations, including the newest one in Edgewood. Let me see if I get all these right. Edgewood, Lakeview, Vestavia, Montevallo, and the other one is in
Crestline Park.
Crestline Park. There you go. That's right. The one close to a bunch of our friends over there.
Yeah.
5 great
all celebrity birthdays today, Brown.
Oh, love those.
Oh, these are my favorite ones. Let's go.
First down.
Tanya Harding.
You had that,
did you have that VHS tape back in the day?
I did not. That was not one I would have chose Paris Hilton over that one if I had to get one of those VHS tapes.
You would have spent one night?
Yeah.
Tanya Harding, 54 today. If I asked you the better biopic, I, Tanya, or 8 Mile about Eminem. I don't know if you guys have seen either one.
I've never seen either one.
I've seen both, actually. And I thought I, Tanya was really good. Margot Robbie?
Yep.
I mean, that was, as we've said, if you don't think Margot Robbie is a great actress, she went from looking like her to Tanya Harding. That should get her any Academy Award.
If you did a side-by-side Wolf of Wall Street and I, Tanya,
you would not believe it's the same person.
It's pretty incredible.
Yeah.
I never thought Margot Robbie would be an A-list actress, but she really has shown her versatility. The movie's great. Like, it's hard to believe that they can make a movie about Tanya Harding that would be really good.
But it was.
Yeah, and you sympathize with Tanya Harding just because of what a bitch her mom was.
Well, she was being used by a lot of people around her.
Well, including her mom.
And, I mean, there were just a lot of people that were trying to ride that gravy train.
Well, I'll tell you, the I, Tanya, Margot Robbie looks a lot better than the real I, Tanya.
You think?
Yeah.
Yes, I think I would agree with you.
They've been trying to make her look her absolute worst.
Yeah, I mean, look at there. There you go. Wow. I can't remember Tanya really looking like that when she was skating, but it's legit.
Were you, who played Nancy Kerrigan in that? Do you remember?
Ooh, I don't remember. It wasn't an A-lister.
Oh, was it not?
It wasn't?
No.
Jennifer Garner?
I don't remember who the dude was that played Jeff Galooly. Allison Janney was the mom who was, she was great in it.
Yeah.
Sebastian Stan played Jeff Galooly.
Yeah, Sebastian Stan also played Tommy Lee in the Tommy and Pam thing, I think.
Yeah.
Caitlin Carver. I could see a little Nancy Kerrigan in
So
there.
in both of Sebastian's roles, he hit somebody with a pipe?
Yeah, he sure did.
Second down.
Very active with that. Russell Westbrook, 35 today. Sammy Sosa, 56. Better career, Russell Westbrook or Sammy Sosa?
I mean, Sammy Sosa gave a chase to he's a Hall of Famer. I guess Russell Westbrook is too. He'll be a basketball Hall of Famer, right?
Dude, Russell Westbrook was triple-double every night.
He was. But, Sosa made the run at the single-season home run record. He just got edged by McGuire. He ended up with 600-plus homers, did he not? Am I right about that?
Oh, yeah.
Did he go over 600 or 500?
I think it was over 600.
I think he got right around 6.
Yeah, I'll double-check that.
I would lean Russell Westbrook, and maybe it's just because I've seen him more recently. Seemed like he was consistently more elite than Sammy Sosa was.
Sammy Sosa had 609 home runs. I think are there 5 or 6 players that have had 600-plus home runs in Major League history?
Yeah.
Ruth, Aaron, Sosa, Bonds. I mean, there are not many. So I think I'll go Sammy Sosa here.
I'll go Sammy Sosa.
Yeah, I'm going to go Westbrook.
Yeah, I never loved Westbrook, but I'll go Sosa.
Third down.
Neil Young, 79 today.
Never
a fan. I was not either. The solo artist Neil Young or Vince Neil of Motley Crue, better career?
Oh, I've seen Vince Neil and Motley Crue 13 times, I think. Loved them. And as a Southern man, I'm gonna go.
You don't need him around. You don't need him around.
I don't need him around anymore. Vince, I'm gonna go Vince.
I wonder, deep, musical critics, which way they would go on. I'm going Vince too.
Yeah, they'll go Neil Young because of his songwriting, his lyrics.
Yeah, I mean, he sounded awful. The guy couldn't sing to save his life, but he could write songs that people like.
Home Sweet Home has got a new commercial. I forgot which auto it is.
Yeah, I've seen it though. Yeah. I would far prefer. I don't get the people that are like. And you're this guy, Dunaway. You really love good songwriters. The lyrics.
Yeah.
But I can't give up the good sound just for the lyrics. Like Bob Dylan and Neil Young and people like that.
No, I can. I mean,
I can. I need the good sound.
Yeah. No, I can. I mean, it's about the lyrics.
So are you you read a lot of poetry?
No, I read music lyrics, which to me is poetry.
Well, that is poetry. I mean, I think it's a form of poetry. But
Yeah.
I just prefer the good sound more. Like if you say...
I'm more about the production of the song.
Do you want good lyrics or good sound? I'll take good sound 10 out of 10.
No, just the opposite of me. I'll go and listen at the Floribama. I'll go in the room and just listen. I'll listen to anybody sing, especially if I know they're singing about their life. Like if I know they wrote the songs and it's about their life, that's a 10 out of 10 for me.
Right.
Yeah.
But that's actually the easiest stuff to write about is your life.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, but you got to have a crap life. Like Jelly Roll, I mean, he's got a lot of songs about his life out there.
Yeah. Now, he can sing, and I think he gets a little redundant. His songs get a little redundant about his life.
A lot about drugs and jail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, redemption, which is
great.
It's a great story.
It's a
great story.
Yeah.
Fourth down.
Ryan Gosling, 44. Better career, Ryan Gosling or Ryan Seacrest?
Real quickly, Caleb, I have deleted all my Zach Bryan music.
Oh, you're off him?
Yeah, I am.
Have you really?
Yeah.
So you're Team Bree.
I'm Team Bree.
I do that.
Yeah.
I'd go that way.
Even though she shunned me at Talladega.
That's right.
I would have shunned me too.
I find it hard to believe there was really a $12 million NDA based on the only things that I've heard come out of her mouth about it.
Yeah.
Which isn't a lot. Maybe there's more stuff. But if that's what it was, take the $12 million and walk.
Yeah. There is belief that her podcast mate, I forget her name now. Who's with Bree and
I don't know.
I have no earthly idea.
Her friend from her hometown.
Okay. Yeah.
She has not commented on this, and there is belief that she took a small buyout.
Oh, how about that?
An NDA.
Wouldn't that be funny
Yeah.
if she cashed in on it? The girl that actually went through
I
it
would
didn't.
think one would be based on the other. Like, we really don't need to pay you NDA cover-up money if the actual girl that dated him is not going to take it.
Yeah, well, so far Bree is not telling some of the stuff, and she's not releasing any videos that she said she has. But the other lady is not saying anything. So a lot of people are saying maybe she got $1 million or
people team Zach Bryan or team?
Oh, I think most people who like Grace. Thank you, Taylor. I think people who like Zach Bryan still going to like Zach Bryan, and people that like Barstool are still going to like Barstool. I just happen to fall right. I liked them both before they were together.
Yeah, that's true. You've got them.
But
both.
you've given up the Zach Bryan thing.
I did. I deleted all of his music off Spotify. I promise you. You will not find it on there anywhere.
I appreciate
and
your
it has a button. It has a button.
But why did you delete it? So, or do you think
I don't pay for it? I took it off all my playlists.
And again, I don't know the whole story.
I just can't listen to his music now, knowing that he could be so petty that if she's getting ready to cook him breakfast, in my head, and only a T-shirt.
From last night.
Right?
Yeah.
She's only got a T-shirt on. She's going to cook him breakfast.
And she's humming Morgan Wallen?
She's humming Last night we let the liquor talk, and that pisses him off because he's singing somebody else's song under his roof that he paid for. I just can't. I can't listen to his music anymore the same way.
I just don't believe a $12 million NDA with that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Who were my choices here? Ryan Seacrest and who?
And Ryan Gosling.
That's easy, Ryan Seacrest. That guy's made.
He has made a ton, but man, Ryan Gosling is like one of the top actors in Hollywood. He's going to continue to get really good projects for years and years and years. And I know Seacrest is going to print money, but the more talented is definitely Ryan Gosling. Now,
I don't know.
Seacrest's pretty talented.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't get where he gets.
I think he's talented, no doubt. But Ryan Gosling, I mean, from a freaking one of the Disney the
New Mickey Mouse Club.
Yeah, the Mickey Mouse Club.
Mouseketeer.
Yeah, the dude can do musicals, sing, dance. I mean, he can do pretty much everything.
But I'm telling you, Seacrest is not on script either, though. He's
pretty
good business mind.
Yeah.
He produces a lot of it, and it's off script. He's entertaining off script. He works his butt off. Does a morning radio show on Sirius XM.
He does everything.
He does
never
everything.
stops working.
Yeah. And the other guy's reading somebody else's work.
I think you're diminishing a little bit what Ryan Gosling does.
He just reads the script.
Yeah.
That's all he does.
All he does is read somebody else's script and do sit-ups. So I'll go Seacrest. Milton, back row. Do you have a thought?
Yeah, it's Seacrest.
Wow.
And Ryan Gosling's in my favorite movie of all time. I love La La Land. It is my favorite movie.
Oh, wow.
Personally, yep. But Ryan Seacrest has dominated his style of presentation, while Ryan Gosling cannot be commercially successful in a way to break through as a leading male.
Yep. He's in The Notebook too, Gosling, and I'm still going Ryan Seacrest.
Yeah. How do you mean he can't break through as a leading man?
He can't lead a movie. He can't sell tickets. That's his problem.
Wow, can't
Fall
sell
Guy
tickets.
this year absolutely flopped.
Oh, well,
and
I
that
mean,
was
look, you
supposed
give.
to be his
Speaking of somebody else's work, I mean, I heard The Fall Guy was one of the worst movies ever.
I wouldn't go that far, but
I really disliked it, but it's not one of the worst movies ever.
Yeah. No, Pritch Law didn't even know what La La Land is.
Yeah, I've never seen
it's
that.
It's a musical. Emma Stone.
Yeah,
that's a great.
I've never seen it.
They dance at that little place you look at the stars up in L.A., right?
That is correct.
Yeah.
Oh, the observatory, the Griffin Observatory.
Yeah.
Boy, the line was so long for that joint. We didn't even get to go up there.
Yeah. So, all right, that's 4 downs today. Brought to you by our friends at Slice.
Yeah, 5 locations. Stop in for lunch or dinner. Go see the Bajalia Brothers. Local pizza, local ingredients from the soul pie to the hot mama. You're going to love it. For more information, slicebirmingham.com.
9 guys hit 600-plus home runs to completely finish that.
Finish the loop. You've said it once.
Close the loop, Jim. I wasn't going to say it again because you like to point out when I do that, and then
I
you
just
pointed
like
out
when
that
you bring
I didn't
new
do
phrases
it. So
to
I
the
don't
show.
know what I'm going to do. Barry Bonds.
Close the loop.
Hank Aaron, Babe Ruth, Albert Pujols, Alex Rodriguez, Willie Mays, Ken Griffey Jr., Sammy Sosa, and the one almost everybody forgets about.
Jimmy Fox?
Jim Tomey.
Jim Tomey.
Oh, I got that one right.
Jim Tomey had 612 home runs, and you just never think about him in that group for whatever reason.
Hey, our friends at Odie's getting ready for trivia again tomorrow night. Tell us about Odie's.
Odie's Tavern, 2 locations. Edgewood, the newest location, the original in Crestline. Rodney Davis doing that food for over 35 years. Fantastic stuff, from the wings to the burgers to the sandwiches. Now they've got chili, perfect for this fall weather, and we will be at the original location tomorrow night for Odie's Team Trivia. Come out and join us. Go see Will Haver and that great staff. 2 locations of Odie's.
Had we already done Odie's once before?
Yeah.
Okay, so there you go.
Double dipper, baby.
For my buddy Will Haver. Chicken fingers are on you next time, Will. A little payola there for you. All right, well, when we come back, we will do trash after the break.
Follow The Next Round on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Next Round Live.
Bright Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Hey, this is Matt Roth, the franchisee of Walk On Sports Bistro in Birmingham. With the kickoff of football season, come visit us at one of our 3 locations, Stadium Trace, Greystone, or Trussville. Come enjoy our scratch kitchen menu while watching one of our 80 TVs. Whether you're looking for a pre- or post-game celebration, game day, or date night, we've got you covered. It's all about the win at Walk On Sports Bistro. Walk On, where everybody needs a little playing time.
Hey, you. It's the holidays. Give cheer a lift. And at New Balance Birmingham, we got the gift. That holiday vibe? Find it inside. Come together at New Balance Birmingham on Highway 280, right next to Chick-fil-A. New Balance Birmingham, we got now.
This hour of The Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemp Hill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemp Hill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemp Hill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
If renting is putting a dent in your bank account, here's your sign from the universe that it's time to buy a new home. And who better to help you through the ins and outs of home buying than our friends at Mortgage Right. With Mortgage Right, you don't have to worry about becoming a short notice mortgage expert because they do all the heavy lifting for you. They're trusted mortgage professionals and they'll help you choose the right mortgage option and stand by your side every step of the way. Visit mortgageright.com/TNR to buy before renting runs you dry. That's mortgageright.com/TNR. NMLS 2239, Equal Housing Lender. Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
Thanksgiving is here, and let the New York Butcher Shop be the place to get all of your holiday meal items. Their premium turkeys are fresh, free-range, and hormone-free. The New York Butcher Shop also has a wide selection of chef-prepared side items to help save you time in the kitchen. Pick up a bottle of wine, and your meal will be complete. Turkeys are selling fast, so place your order today. 2 locations to serve you, in Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop. Rare quality, well-done service.
Want more of the show? Download the app or visit nextroundlive.com for the latest podcast, The Mystery Fifth Hour, our Not For All Ages podcast, The Last Call, and the entire Double Down Media podcast family. All at nextroundlive.com and on the Next Round app.
Back with you on the Next Round. Trash in just a second. Little T, staying on top of everything with social media, has sent Forrester and me and you guys this report from On3 Sports. I'll read it as it's written.
Okay.
Report. Louisiana Governor Jeff Landry blasted LSU for its loss to Alabama and defended his live tiger stunt. Quote, Our live tiger, unfortunately, disappointingly, was the only tiger who showed up Saturday. I'm sorry, end quote.
He ain't wrong.
No, who said that?
That's the governor
of Louisiana.
The guy who paid for the tiger
because he's
stunt.
the one that's getting criticized so heavily for bringing this tiger in.
Quote, our live tiger that you see on the screen, unfortunately, disappointingly, was the only tiger who showed up Saturday. I'm sorry, he says.
Graduate of Louisiana Lafayette, just in case you're curious, did not go to LSU.
When's he up for re-election?
That is a great question. He assumed office in January of 2024, so he's got a whole cycle left for. He has to get voted.
A minute.
Yeah, he's got a little bit.
Yeah, so he's new on the job.
Yeah,
I don't think he'll get his next term.
You don't think so?
No, that was. I think T-Bob called it a curse.
Curse of the fake tiger?
Yeah. A lot of people were not happy.
What if it's like that trash story we did about the, what was it, the chows that they painted like panda bears? Like that wasn't even a real tiger?
Like the Chinese zoo.
They did a good job with the panda, though.
They did.
The chow.
Yeah, I don't know what you could paint to make it look like a tiger, but if that weren't even a real tiger, we find that out.
One more thing. Chows.
Chows, yeah. Chows work for a lot of things, I think.
One more thing before we get to trash, brought to you by our friends at Champy's world famous fried chicken, champyschicken.com. Don't forget basketball, college football playoff reveal tonight. Also, you have the start of the NBA Cup, second year of that.
I can't believe they're bringing that back.
What this means is we'll get a lot of crappy looking courts.
Yep.
to remind you that this is a part of the NBA Cup game. Brown, you should be impressed by this.
Okay.
Bernhard Longer, who is 67 years old, won whatever season-ending championship it was on the Champions Tour. He has now won at least one event for 18 consecutive years on the Champions Tour.
It's pretty crazy.
He has made a bacoodle amount of money.
Yeah, this guy is just a machine.
Just after his real career.
Yeah, which is a very good career.
On the Champions Tour. They should almost ban him. He's winning so many of them.
I mean, I'm sure they would love for him just to go retire.
Because he shows up and he wins right there. Joey Logano, we didn't get to it yesterday, won the NASCAR championship. They come back to Talladega for 2 races next year. That's his third one. Only people in racing with more wins than Joey freaking Logano, who I don't think is popular with the people. Richard Petty, Dale Earnhardt, Jimmy Johnson, Jeff Gordon, Joey Logano's in that group.
That's the list?
That's the list.
Holy crap.
That is crazy.
You know, he came in studio with us back in the radio days, and I remember him being a very nice guy. I don't know if you guys remember that.
I do. Absolutely.
Yeah. He was an extremely nice guy.
I liked Kyle and Kurt Busch more than I liked him in person. But he was okay.
Yeah, I just remember being a really nice guy.
I like Jimmy Johnson and Jeff Gordon more than I did him when he came in the studio.
What is your deal with Logano?
I like Logano a lot.
Yeah, I mean, he key your car.
I knew you would. All right, JohnsonRVCenter.com, JohnsonRVCenter.com. After trash, we'll talk about what 2 fan bases are upset about.
I can only imagine right now.
In college football.
You know how they could soothe that upset nature of theirs is go see American in an RV from Johnston RV Center. I-65, exit 304 in Coleman, 334 in Decatur. That's where you find them. You can find them online as well, JohnstonRVCenter.com, JohnstonRVCenter.com. They got great deals for you, too. How about travel trailers as low as $145 a month? That is a great deal on travel trailers. You want a fifth wheel? Savings more than $45,000. You want a lifetime warranty? They got that too. RV Warranty Forever gives you a lifetime warranty on everything that is new and qualifying pre-owned at Johnston RV Center. JohnstonRVCenter.com.
By the way, Jim McElwain is being investigated. We always say watch for, if somebody wants to fire you, watch for things like this to pop up. Jim McElwain is being investigated now by the NCAA with new information regarding Connor Stalions being on his sideline. There is some belief now that there may be proof that McElwain knew about it, and this could be a way of Central Michigan parting ways with the football coach at the end of the year.
Shark wasn't enough.
They're
3-6 and 1-4 in conference.
That gets us to trash. Spin the wheel. What's the open today, Tyler? What do you got for us?
I like to solve the puzzle. Okay, well, let's hear it. Treat yourself a round of sausage. No. I'm sorry, that's not it. Over to Katina.
I like to solve.
Okay.
Give yourself a round of applause.
Yeah, that's it.
LT's Trash is presented by Mortgage Right.
Pretty creative.
Mortgages done the right way.
But he thought that bottom word was sausage? It starts with an A.
Correct.
Silent A.
Yes.
And then they thought the top word was treat.
Yeah, so that guy probably didn't win that night.
Hey, always buying season. Our friends at Mortgage Right here to help. Veteran founded here in Birmingham, offer loans throughout the country. While the area they serve may have grown, their commitment to Birmingham and veterans has not changed. Before you take the next steps on a new home purchase or refinance, talk with the team at Mortgage Right. No cost or obligation to find out what you actually qualify for. Call today, 205-900-7200, mortgageright.com/TNR, NMLS 2239, equal housing lender. Boy, we have some dumb courses that get taught in college now.
Now, listen, I took some layup.
I did too.
I took some layup courses.
I did too. I mean, I took coaching baseball. I took
turf care management was what I took. That was a 400 level course.
Indians in North America. It was just more of an elective, but there could have been some substance there.
I took motorcycle safety.
Dog training class.
Dog training?
Yeah.
Yeah, Dunaway
we trained the dogs that sniff bombs at the games.
Yeah.
Well, Beyonce will have
motorcycle safety for me now.
Yeah. Did you actually drive a motorcycle? I'm sorry, Lance.
Yeah, that was the final exam.
Oh yeah, you had to
we had to drive to a point and drive back, and if you survived, you got an A.
Yes.
Beyonce will have Ivy League students saying her name next semester. Just reading, by the way.
Say my name.
The chart topper's history-making career will be studied at Yale University in 2025. Daphne Brooks professor of African American Studies, Women's, Gender, and Music at the famed university, will be teaching a class inspired by the evolution of Beyonce's career, including her sound, fashion, and use of visual media. Now, the class titled Beyonce Makes History, Black Radical Tradition, History, Culture, Theory, and Politics Through Music.
Huh. I mean, there probably have been dumber classes. This one appeals to me none at all, but if I needed it.
They had, I think Harvard did a Taylor Swift course.
Yeah, again,
which sounds really stupid.
But if I needed an A, I'd probably do it.
Well, when you talk about just being smart entrepreneurs.
Oh, yeah, there's a lot to learn.
There's a lot to learn about how they manage their careers, both of them, right? I think, it seems like Bruce Springsteen has done a good job managing his career.
Yeah, but like, how many of those people are going to be Beyonce or Taylor Swift?
Yeah.
Like, those people could maybe be a Warren Buffett.
Yeah.
So,
but you just, just about making, smart business decisions, I do believe that if you're an entrepreneur, you sort of have that trait built in. Like, I think it's God-given. The best entrepreneurs is almost a part of their DNA. Like, I got a buddy that, I don't know if he's ever had a traditional job. He just makes money.
Yeah.
I'm sure you've all got friends who are just good at making money.
Yeah, I mean, look, really, it's kind of black and white. Either people are good at business or they're not really good at business.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's Beyonce or the fact that she learned from her husband, Jay-Z. I mean, whatever, it's worked out.
Jay-Z, really good at making money.
Now, the 2024 Formula One season has been one of the most competitive in 3 years, leading to a three-way chase for the Constructors' Championship as we wind down to the last month of the season. Now, despite all the excitement, one of the most consistent storylines surrounding the sport this year, the FIA's war on swearing drivers. I had no idea this was a thing, but the Grand Prix Drivers Association is taking official action with a statement arguing for a driver's right to swear. FIA President Mohammed bin Sulaiman kicked off the swearing saga in September when he told Motorsport that the sanctioning body has asked F1's media leadership group to limit even censored recordings of drivers swearing on the radios during race. Now, that interview, which raised a derogatory reference to rap music that Lewis Hamilton raised questions about later that week, was just the beginning. Max Verstappen was fined for referring to his car as effed during a press conference one day later, leading drivers to voice their concern about the penalty. After another driver was handed a similar fine last week, drivers went one step further. Their group, the Grand Prix Drivers Association, put out a statement on Thursday about the matter of, quote, driver misconduct. In the statement issued on social media, the drivers group noted that difference between swearing as an insult and casual swearing that you might use to describe bad weather.
Oh.
You can do one but not the other. Now, the statement goes on to raise concerns about the tone on other issues, noting that its members are, quote, adults, and they do not need to be given instructions via the media about matters as trivial as wearing of jewelry and underpants.
Yeah, you know when my car was effed? When the weather was really bad. There you go. That's how you fix that one, I guess.
It doesn't make sense. Do they cuss in the documentary? You fell in love with that documentary.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's on Netflix, so it's just, advised, whatever, parental discretion advised.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be long, and I don't know how they do Yellowstone on CBS. You said you watched it on Paramount, right?
Yeah.
Like, does the CBS version, do they just run a disclaimer?
I have no idea. I've never watched it. But there's no way they can they can't run the same thing from Paramount to CBS, can they?
I don't know, because, FX back in the day really started to push it. Now, FX, I guess, was a cable network.
Yeah.
But the Americans, partial nudity.
FX.
Yeah, same way with Yellowstone, partial nudity.
It feels like cable now. Now, you're talking about CBS, but it feels like cable, almost anything goes. I mean, there are certain limits, obviously, pornography and things like that. But, like, language-wise, do you think ESPN gets fined for Saban saying the S word?
Nope,
on
I don't
game
think
day,
so anymore.
And McAfee dropped an F-bomb on there a couple of weeks ago. I don't think they get fined for that anymore.
I think it's just a matter of time. You go back to the 90s, NYPD Blue. Remember, you were probably in TV.
I was.
And they were pulling that off in certain markets because...
Was it Dennis Franz?
It was Dennis Franz's ass. Nobody wanted to see it.
Well, yeah, it's nothing that's going
to... I personally don't think we aired it in Birmingham. I don't want to get too far into it because I may be wrong, but... I think that night ABC did not air that because...
I think it came down to it, but I think they did. But I could be wrong. But it was one or the other. It did come down to the 11th hour.
Yeah. And I can't remember. It seems like it was on James Spann's station. And Spann,
It was an ABC show.
Yeah. I just can't remember. Spain was
Anyway,
at
it just
Fox
seems
at
like
the
things
time.
are loosening up a lot, so it's pretty amazing to believe that drivers internationally are getting fined for cussing.
Yeah, that is pretty crazy.
So Costco, I've never had a membership. I've heard it is well worth everything it's all hyped up to be. You guys ever go to Costco?
We are not members of Costco.
My wife does it. We're members. What?
But funny, my entrepreneur friend who makes money no matter what he does is a member at Costco and goes there a lot.
There you go. My wife gets like paper goods there, like the paper towels and the tissue, the big packs of it.
Yeah.
Now, one Costco customer recently decided to test the limits of the company's return policy.
Oh, my.
Reddit user eStack shared a photo of what might be the oldest product ever attempted to be returned at the big box store. Quote, I just watched someone return a TV. It was purchased in 2002, reads the post. I thought it was a prank when I saw it. As a person that doesn't really take advantage of Costco's impressive return policy, would a person receive a full refund? Now, as seen in the photo, the TV set is a blast from the past when electronic companies had yet to perfect the sleek screens that we know today. eStack told the Daily Mail in April that the return was spotted at a Costco in Pennsylvania. The user wasn't sure if the refund was issued, but they overheard the customer service suggest the chunky TV was bought in 2002. Now, the model looks like a Samsung HCL 552W rear projection, which was available in the U.S. in 2002. This was the one right before one that I've still got in Jack's. Well, I don't have it anymore. I took it out of Jack's room. But it was my first HD TV. It was Samsung. It was like that.
Yeah. I had
just
a rear
bit of a
projection one, too, as well.
A buddy of mine had a TV about like that was HD. And it's I remember the Super Bowl. Wasn't it the one in New Orleans that you went to?
Yeah.
That was the first Super Bowl in HD. And we watched it at his
Super Bowl
house on the
36.
TV. Yeah.
Just thought it was the greatest thing ever.
Oh, yeah. I remember him saying, hey, when y'all are coming over Sunday, right? I was like, yeah. He goes, I think the game's going to be in high definition. I was like, holy crap, really?
Yeah. It's like, I mean, really, we could reach out like we're there.
I know. You don't even need tickets anymore.
Some of these Reddit posts, one added, quote, I'm more shocked that they still have a receipt after 22 years, which is amazing.
True. Yeah.
Several Redditors suggested that if the product was purchased before 2007, the customer likely would have been owed a refund. That was the year Costco tightened its return policy on electronics, accepting returns only within 90 days of the date of purchase.
I would say the cost of that television right there is going to blow your mind. I would put that between $4,500 and $5,500.
Okay, so the TV I got I remember this because it was, at that time in 2003, was a $4,000 TV.
Yep.
That was something similar to that?
Yeah.
So if you're an executive member, it looks like you can pick up this sweet TV for $120.
I mean, that's a deal.
I think you can pick up like one of the Walmart brand 4K ones for probably maybe $30
Yeah,
more.
but does it weigh 8,000 pounds like that one? It does not, Tyler. So
No, Tyler, I think
true.
that's a
I can
sign back on the wall.
Oh.
I thought that was the area where the TV was being held. I'm with okay.
Is it on the wall? I can't tell.
It is on the wall, but I thought
it's just a sign on the wall.
I thought Tyler was right. I thought that section was $120.
No, I think you can become an executive member for $120.
Oh, well, I hope my wife has done that. I would like for us to be executives.
What
there
else
at
do we have
Costco.
in the cart? A mattress?
Yeah, what is that?
Looks to me
looks like some bed sheets.
Bed sheets?
Yes. When you got a TV like that, you need them, man.
2 sets, please.
So finally, we've got a plus-size influencer says that she can only fly private jets after commercial airlines were unable to fit her 55-inch backside.
My gosh.
Yeah. You know, this is becoming a thing.
What, the backside or flying the private jets?
The Brazilian butt lift, the BBL, which I don't get it. But this is Gracie Bond, a model from Panama with over 9 million followers. She attributes her popularity to her striking curves and looks. Now, after alleging that certain airlines, quote, banned her from flying because of her size, Gracie began traveling privately, explaining in a video that she used to purchase multiple seats and even started to campaign for larger seats, which was met with disapproval. Quote, every time I used to travel, I used to buy 2 or 3 seats. So I started a campaign requesting bigger seats. They didn't like it. Now flying private is my only solution.
Well, wait. Now, she looked skinny except for one part on the back shot, but on the front shot.
Those thighs, Jim.
Those legs. What has happened
What's
happened?
that is the flotation device. She does not need any help.
I mean, that's, 45-inch around legs.
I mean, I don't know how
I think the article said 55, but I'm not sure if that was her legs or her butt.
I mean, I don't know how you find pants.
How the hell she's got 9 million followers?
So you think Lance?
You think that's artificial?
The thighs and the butt are plastic surgery?
The butt definitely is. It's got to be. Now, in the video, Gracie filmed herself enjoying the private jet, chatting with the pilot. She also ordered multiple meals, no surprise there, before eventually falling asleep on a lounger for 3 hours. Now, the only issue she encountered was in the bathroom, where she admitted that the toilet might be a little too small for her curves. Now,
I can imagine.
She previously insisted that her large curves are, quote, all natural, after fans speculated she had plastic surgery for the BBL, the Brazilian butt lift. 27-year-old recently responded to these remarks saying, quote, "My body is what God gave me. Airlines should have bigger seats."
I don't agree about the airlines having bigger seats, but I don't think you can do that in plastic surgery. I don't think you can make your thighs that big.
I just don't think this is real.
But the body doesn't go with the body, so something had to have been done there.
Yeah, like from the waist up, she does not look like she does from the waist down.
Can we get another front shot, like of her face? Like, does she have like a sketch? Did she have like 3-4 chins?
Well, the head looks photoshopped on as part of the problem. She's got like a normal size face and head.
Well, let's not use the word normal.
She's got a average size, typical. I don't know what you want me to say. Oh, is that her? Gracie Bond?
like that picture right there, you're like, okay.
You're gonna have to have safe search on for this one.
Okay, safe search. Let's do safe search. Scott, be quick on the trigger here.
Oh
my!
no.
Wow.
What is the top left? So she's got 9 million followers. I guess people are into some weird stuff, man.
That's large, significant.
Damn.
Okay.
I don't understand.
I don't either, Jim.
Yep.
Hey, listen, it's a big world out there, my friend.
It is.
Something for everybody.
All right, that is trash today.
That can't be natural to the right.
I don't.
Trash always brought to you by our friends at Mortgage Right. No cost or obligation to see what you qualify for. They are the mortgage experts. 205-900-7200 or mortgageright.com.
Gracie Bond Voyage was the headline of the airline suit.
Bon voyage.
Yep. All right. One thing that a couple of fan bases are upset about after LT tells us about our friends at New York Butcher Shop. If you're desiring a pot roast right now.
Understandable, right?
Yeah, I saw a friend Jim yesterday and picked up a couple of steaks, some of the goat cheese mashed potatoes, just a fantastic meal from the New York Butcher Shop. And then I remembered, you know what? It's Chili's birthday today. So I'm going to have to go back to the New York Butcher Shop, pick up a couple of smash burgers for Chili. But when I was talking to Jim, he wanted to remind me that if you were looking for the great Thanksgiving feast and you don't want to handle it yourself, they can do it. He's got all his birds coming in this week and next week. Turkeys are fresh, all natural from Joyce Farms, one of the best poultry producers in America. They can smoke or brine them. They also carry smoked hams, certified Angus prime beef tenderloins, rib roast, all of their side dishes made in-house. Don't forget, they've got desserts, pies, cakes, banana breads, great wine selection to pair with your turkey or beef tender roast. Very important, they're taking reservations. They are going to sell out. Highly recommended. Stop into one of those two locations, Cahaba Heights, Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop, rare quality, well-done service.
Hey, real quickly, shout out to Morgan, who I think's in our fantasy football league as well with the viewers. But he drives from the state of Kentucky. I said this last week. I saw him again last night. From the state of Kentucky to every Alabama basketball home game, goes to some road games.
That blows me away.
He said last year he put in almost 20,000 miles driving to see Alabama games. He was at the game last night. He lives in Elizabethtown, Kentucky, E-Town. Right before you get to Louisville.
Yeah.
And he had to be at work this morning at 5:30.
Oh, my gosh. How did he do that?
So he drove after the game last night back home. He drove down and back to the game.
Just to see Bama play McNeese State?
Yes. He goes to almost. He only missed 2 games last year.
There's some Bama fans that complain about the start time, and they live in Birmingham.
Yeah. They complain about 6 o'clock and driving from Birmingham. He drove from E-Town for the 6 o'clock tip last night.
Yeah.
I talked to him pregame.
That blows me away.
He had a cold beer in his hand.
Yeah.
And he said, I'm going to have one of these, and then I'm going to drive back home after the game.
So that's 6 hours?
Yeah, 6 hours.
To E-Town?
12 hours round trip.
To watch Bama play McNeese.
Hey, whatever you love, man.
Yeah, how about that?
Did he
I
do
just
that?
would rather be on my couch.
He drove to the Final Four last year, only missed 2 games last year.
So he doesn't like to fly.
Apparently not.
Does he do that did he do that pre-Oates? Like, did he do that through Avery Johnson and Anthony Grant? Because
I just know his history. I just know his history through last night.
Well, if I had to drive to watch Anthony Grant's offense, yikes.
Yeah, I need a no-dose.
Yeah.
All right, what 2 fan bases are upset about? TV announcements yesterday. Alabama, Oklahoma, prime time, 6:30 ABC, the Fowler crew again.
What's the point spread on that game, Bama, Oklahoma? Bama, a 3-touchdown favorite on the road? It
No,
won't be that high?
no.
2 touchdowns?
I would say that it'll be 10.5.
That low?
Yeah, 10.5 to 13.5.
Losable game.
It ain't a losable game.
Oklahoma's not very good.
Losable game. But they're not the fan base that was upset about the TV times yesterday. There you see all of them from the SEC. It's Ohio State fans. They're going to end the year with 6 straight noon Eastern kickoffs. They wanted the Indiana game next week to be prime time under the lights.
Yeah, I saw Klatt having to defend the
Is
big
that what
noon
he was
kick.
doing
Yeah,
on that?
I didn't know why he was doing
Yeah.
that until you just said this. But Klatt had a big, long, multiple text thread defending the big noon kick. And
They'll have 0 night games this year in Columbus Stadium, but I don't really think of Columbus, Ohio State having big night games. Do you?
Not really, but if I'm an Ohio State fan and I'm a season ticket holder, I do want a little mixture. I don't want that early game every week. That early game is the absolute worst.
I used to think, though, that that's what Big Ten fans liked was an 11 a.m. kick. That's what I was always told, even before Fox was doing this.
Me too. Because they always choose to play Ohio State, Michigan at that time.
At 11 o'clock, yeah. And we learned that there was a gentleman's agreement that you wouldn't have Big Ten night games in the month of November because of the temperature, that you tried to avoid those at all cost.
Yep. The other fan base that's a little upset, biggest game on Big Noon Kickoff this week, Colorado. Local time, what time's that kick?
10 o'clock.
10 a.m.
Yep.
There should be a rule that your game
that's-
kick at 10 o'clock.
That's too early. Now, I remember during the pandemic, and it was different then, but USC kicking off at 9 a.m.
Yep.
What Klatt said, though, in that string of tweets was correct, is that 11 a.m. Central, noon Eastern, 10, whatever, used to be a wasteland of college football. They put the worst games there. You got crappy games. You just prayed for an out-of-the-blue upset. And Fox forced ESPN to start putting good games there. And it has improved that 11 a.m. window. You cannot deny that, what Fox did. It has given us an 11 a.m. to at least 11 p.m. of at least one good game per window normally.
Usually.
Absolutely. And most of the time, multiple good games per window.
But 6 straight noon kicks at home is what? Noon Eastern local time kicks for Ohio State. And their fans are upset about it. They wanted that game to be prime time, to which NBC and CBS would have said, oh, yeah, we'll do it.
Sure, we'll
do it.
take that.
Yeah, but Fox putting it there at the big noon. All right, that's our show today. We are back with you tomorrow at 9 a.m. Central Time. Don't forget trivia tomorrow night at Odie's on a Wednesday. Upset alert. You see our screens right here. Forrester, let me see yours real quick. The one you didn't go with. We'll end the show with this. He had already pre-done it and decided it was too grotesque to do it.
Grotesque?
Yep. I suggested let's have a little blood.
Oh, yeah. You should have done that.
He'd already done it that way when I said it.
Bleeding right out of the mask, too. It got his head.
Yeah. One more time. Stab him one more time. We'll end the show with that. Let's go, Sun Devils. Ready? One more time. Ugh. Must have caught the jugular right there. Until next time, God bless you and God bless America.